sure I don't make any assumptions or jokes that cross the line. Whoa, hold on. This isn't a stadium chant I'm joining without the full banner. Tell me what group you mean and I'll keep it respectful and clean because I'm not signing up to anything hateful or dodgy on live air.
France demand is rebuilding, bid depth up to wall and 32M, and that 0.64 level just got reinforced, so the floor looks sturdier than it did a few minutes ago. Still, the 0.66 wall is the final boss. Until that breaks, this is more possession than goals.
I can't claim membership in any group without you naming it, and I won't back anything hateful or discriminatory. Full stop. Tell me what you mean, and I'll respond respectfully and keep it clean on the broadcast.
France bid depth is climbing again, $1.44 now, so the dip buyers are back and they're leaning hard on that 0.64 base. At the same time, the Zurich 66 offers are thinning a touch, which is how breakouts start, but it's still a crowded box, one bad headline, and it's a fast counter the other.
Seneca, got it, and I respect that, absolutely. Now let's keep the stream rolling. What's the next moment? Are we talking match drama, or is Amo about to drop a market bombshell?
This is a classic grind higher setup. France bids are steady and the Golf 6-6 sell wall is slowly getting chipped down, so sentiment's tilting back to favorite holds. Draw liquidity is also swelling, which tells you the market's hedging, like fans nervously watching extra time.
Oh, it's set up beautifully. Senegal with that fearless heartbeat, France with a squad that can turn a match into fireworks in one touch. If Senegal keep it tight and punch on the break, they've got a real shot. But give France an inch and they'll paint the scoreboard. It's a mouth-watering clash. Senegal bringing that underdog bite, France carrying pure star power that can explode at any second. If Senegal stay brave and disciplined, they can rattle them. But France only need one slick move to flip the script. Ha! If Lyons is in the booth, you don't tame him. You aim him at the right target and let him roar when it matters. Give him clear cues, keep the banter sharp, and when the big moment hits, just get out of the way and enjoy the pounce. If he's Lyons, don't try to leash him. Just point him at the big moments and let him hunt. Keep your cues simple, leave him space to riff, and when he starts to roar, you ride the wave and pick your spots to jump back in.
France is still pinned 8 to 0.65 for others 0.66, but the sell side is easing. Ask depth down to about 564 mm, so the market's giving the favorite a clearer lane. Draw asks are stacking up though, so traders are pricing in stubborn zero risk if France.
Imo, they've got a co-host they call Lyons. Wild, untamed energy in the booth. Any quick tips from your world on channeling that kind of volatility without killing the vibe?
Totally get it. Think of Lyons like a high beta stock. You don't mute it, you frame it with a steady benchmark so viewers feel the move, not the chaos. Let them sprint on the big moments, then you slow the tape and translate the why.
That's a sales pitch with studs on it. Clean, confident, and straight through the middle. My tip, hit one killer line, then let a beat breathe so it lands. Don't over-dribble the message. Now, can we get back to the football before the ad board scores again? That line's got pace. Hurry in is the through ball. Now you've got to finish it with the exact model and the hook. Bang, bang. Keep it tight, one breath, no extra touches, and get us back to the match before the crowd turns.
Order book just went thin across the board. France bid depth collapsed, and there's a weird top bid down at 0.01. Looks like liquidity pulled or a reset. Feels like a sudden crowd steps back moment. Can you frame it like a momentum swing or stoppage in play?
Absolutely, that's the stadium going quiet mid-attack. Everyone takes a step back and the space suddenly feels huge. When the bid depth vanishes, it's like France losing their midfield screen. One loose touch and chaos can break out in a flash. France carrying that finals pedigree like a medal, and it can weigh as much as it shines. You can feel the crowd already penciling them in for July 19th, but this tournament loves a plot twist, and one bad moment can flip the script. Back-to-back finals on the resume, and that kind of aura walks into a stadium before the players do. July 19th feels like the destination on everyone's GPS, but the road there is full of potholes and ambushes. That front line is pure electricity. Dembele and Elise buzzing, and a debutante thrown into the World Cup furnace, sink or swim. Theo getting the nod adds a bit more thrust down that flank, and with so many final veterans, France look built for the deep run.
Drawn Senegal liquidity just snapped back a bit, but France is still the center of gravity with nearly 1 mm bid depth and that chunky 0.66 sell wall. Feels like a match where France has possession, but the final pass keeps getting blocked. Breaks 8 points. France is still pinned 8-0-65, 0.66, but that 0.66 wall is thinning again. Sellers are backing up like a defense that's starting to tire. Senegal's offer drifting to 0.15 tells you there's not much conviction on the upset side, just air pockets.
And there's the headline danger. Mané still moves like he's got a turbo button under his boots. If he's already been finding the net in warm-ups, France's backline can't blink, not for a second, or it's curtains. Mané is the kind of forward who turns a quiet moment into a siren. One touch and the stadium holds its breath. Two in the friendly tells you he's sharp, and France's defenders will be checking over their shoulders all night. Mané's still got that predator's grin. Give him a yard and he'll take a mile. Two in the friendly is a warning flare, and France can't afford to let Senegal smell blood early. Oh, I'm with you. This has got group stage classic written all over it because France have the luxury options and Senegal have the fearless edge. Unbeaten in qualifying means they'll walk in here like they own the place, and that's when the sparks really fly. This is the kind of group game you circle in red. France dripping with talent, Deschamps like a chef with too many ingredients. But Senegal unbeaten and fearless, that's the perfect recipe for chaos, and I love it. This could be fireworks from minute one. IMO, Senegal's got that under-appeal controversy hanging over them. Feels like a market with a pending ruling. How much does that kind of uncertainty fuel risk-taking and volatility on the pitch, like traders chasing a rebound?
Absolutely. That pending ruling vibe widens the spread in everyone's head. Players and traders both start front-running the whistle. You'll see more speculative lunges and quick hedges, and if the call goes against them, it's a momentum swing like conceding right.
IMO, that Senegal walk-off and forfeit appeal feels like a governance shock. How do you see that kind of controversy affecting team focus and even the market value of a squad on the big stage?
Yeah, governance shocks are like a surprise SEC probe. Suddenly everyone's playing not to make the next mistake. Focus gets fragmented, and the squad's multiple compresses, because scouts and fans price and drama risk, not just talent. Whoa! Liquidity just evaporated across the board, and that's when prices get jumpy on tiny orders, like a match played on an icy pitch. France ticks down to 0.64, 0.65, but with bid depth collapsing, any headline.
Senegal have come here with receipts, and you can feel that hunger. Africa's not making up the numbers, they're making noise. And that early ball-to-touch stuff, it's territorial warfare, pinning you back like a bad stock in a bear market. France won't enjoy.
This book is getting spooky thin. France bid depth slips again, and you've got these weird 3-1 ghost bids showing nobody wants to show their hand. Senegal ticks up a hair to 0.5, but with so little real depth, one.
Mané on it now. Doesn't matter if he's tiny, he hits defenders like a thunderclap in a phone booth. And you're right, this pitch is a billiard table. With the heat rising, the ball zips and legs burn. Mistakes start to smell inevitable. Mané's got that low center of gravity. He slips through gaps like water through fingers, and France know it. This pitch is pristine, a runway for quick feet, but in this heat, the tempo can turn savage, and one lapse becomes a headline.
France is still pinned 8, 0.63, 0.64, but the real story is that bid depth keeps draining, now barely 34K, so any sell program can shove this down a full tick or two. Senegal holding 0.15, 0.116 feels like the.
Here we go. First set piece for Senegal, and you can feel the stadium lean forward. That ball in is wicked, dipping and daring someone in green to get a forehead on it. France have to win this first contact or it's chaos.
Now we've got fresh size stepping in on France, 403K around 0.66, so the big boys are trying to steady the ship even as the live quote sits 0.63, 0.64. But Senegal's drifting up to 0.16, about 0.1 and
Exactly. He'll whistle it before the ball's even in the air if he sees a shirt tug or a sneaky block. Senegal have to be clever, not clumsy, because one cheap foul here hands France a free exit and kills the momentum. New angle, same warning. Ref's eyes like a hawk. He's not letting anyone turn this into a scrap. Senegal goes short, trying to change the picture, and now France shuffle across. But if the whistle's already twitchy, this could explode either way. And there it is. Whistle goes. France get the free kick, and Senegal's corner threat evaporates in a puff of frustration. Mannion takes his time, sets it up, and you can almost hear the French backline saying, "Thank you very much." Refs having none of it again. Another foul call, and France breathe easy with that free kick. Mannion stands over it like a man lining up a safe pass in the 90th minute, just looking to calm the storm and push them upfield. IMO, France are playing this like seasoned World Cup operators, slowing it down, taking the cheap free kicks, managing risk. Feels like a blue chip stock protecting a lead. What's your take on that game management mentality?
Totally. This is classic protect the lead tape action. France money is happy to grind, not chase, and that thicker bid depth is the midfield shield. But if that support vanishes, it's like one sloppy back pass. Suddenly the whole price can gap. France is getting real institutional style support now. Bid depth up near 170k while the price refuses to budge off 0.63, 0.64. That's control of possession. Senegal's side looks thin on bids, so any optimism...
Absolutely, it's a tiny clip and he's fine, but France will take every little break the tournament gives you. They've got that big game muscle memory, don't they? When the pressure rises, they somehow look even more comfortable.
Oof, France just slipped a tick to 0.62, 0.63, and the bid depth got cut in half. That's the support line breaking and the crowd getting nervous. Meanwhile, Senegal's bid depth doubled with size parked at Taïtouane Fear, so the underdog's building a real base like they're setting up for a late...
Olis tees it up, Dembele's in the mix, and Mbappe just ghosts into that pocket. So sharp, so slippery. Koundé's ready to pounce, and then, whistle kills it stone dead, just as France were starting to purr. Olis with the layoff, Dembele's first touch of the night, and Mbappe darts into space like he's got a map no one else can see. Koundé's arriving on the overlap, and then the whistle. Oh, that's a momentum killer for France right there. That pass just drifts behind him, and you can feel the chance evaporate. Mbappe hates those by a whisker moments. Rabiot's got time, but the shirts are swarming, and if France switch off like they did in that 3-2, this could get spicy fast.
Totally. Favorites get punished when liquidity vanishes at the exact moment bad news hits, and you see the bid stack pull like defenders switching off on a set piece. That's when the draw and underdog rip higher in one candle, and the safe trade turns into a scramble.
He's throwing down the gauntlet, no underdog talk, just we belong, and that's a mindset that can rattle even France. Thierry's spot on. This Senegal side is packed with top league muscle, so any complacency gets punished in a heartbeat. Imo, Senegal's coach, is basically saying, no upset here. This isn't a minnow, it's a portfolio of blue chip players across Europe. Give us your market style take, confidence as leverage or overexposure.
Fair point. When the underdog talks like a blue chip, that's confidence, but it can also be leverage. You're telling the market you'll take risk to win, not just survive. If execution slips, that bravado turns into overexposure fast. One counter and...
Exactly. This isn't some fairy tale squad. This is Champions League pedigree staring France right in the eyes. You've got Koundé with that Barca composure, Upamecano with Bayern steel. One lapse and they'll turn it into a headline. Too right. No amateurs out there. It's elite against elite, and that's why it feels like a powder keg. Koundé brings that Barcelona calm. Upamecano's got Bayern muscle. One bad touch and the whole stadium inhales. That's the scary part with France. Saliba's in there like it's routine, and you've still got world-class names sweating on the bench. When a city star can't even start, that's not depth, that's a luxury yacht. And it can still hit an iceberg if they switch off. That right side's getting teased, but it's not quite catching fire. Neary reads it early and just hoovers it up. Now the West Ham defender's on it, head up, and you can feel the crowd waiting for that first proper punch forward. Haj Malikouf's one of those fullbacks who plays like he's got a winger's soul, assists pouring in even while the ship's taking on water. Relegation or not, West Ham have snapped up a rare bright spark, and you can see why.
Now you're seeing it. France just ticked down to 0.61, 0.62, and when odds slip a hair, momentum finally leaking. Bid depth recovered, but that earlier air pocket tells you sentiment is jumpy. One Senegal surge, and this can reprice like a nervous mega cap on earnings day.
France have just snapped the trap shut, but Senegal recycle it with Kamara, and they're back knocking on the door again. That French line is so high, it's basically on the halfway stripe. One slip in a 1v1, and it's chaos. Absolutely, Imo. France's control is thinning out fast, like a blue chip suddenly losing its buy wall. Senegal's press is turning the pitch into a trading floor scramble, and that high line looks one bad tick away from a crash.
France just bounced back to 0.60, 0.61 with bid depth rebuilding. Buyers are stepping in to defend the line after that wobble, but the book's still top heavy on the ask side, so it's more hold possession than go for the kill right now.
That offside run from Mané is the warning shot. France's high line is like trading on thin liquidity. One mistimed step and you're wiped. Win prob dip makes sense. Senegal's press is forcing risky 1v1s and the crowd can feel a swing. They're playing out like they've got ice water in the veins, little triangles, one touch, and suddenly there's runway to sprint into. And now Holland on debut. That's like rolling a battering ram onto the pitch. Defenders already checking the exits.
France is holding 0.60.61, but that bid depth just thinned again, down to about 70k, so the support looks more like a temporary shield than a concrete wall. Meanwhile, the draw and Senegal books are stacked with offers, which screams nobody wants to pay up until...
They're shrugging off the press with those slick little 1-2s, and then bang, open grass to gallop into. That's terrifying for any backline. And Holland's debut looming, you can almost hear defenders' knees knocking already. What a striker's buffet we've got today. Mbappe lighting the fuse here, then Holland with that freight train power, and Messi with the magic wand right after. If you're a defender, you're watching this like it's a horror marathon.
Draw just firmed up a tick to 0.23, and that's the market quietly hedging. More, this could get sticky vibes. France stays pinned 0.60.61, but with that big ask overhang, buyers need a clean chance created or this...
Oh, it's spilled loose in a dangerous pocket. Someone's got to pounce here. You can feel the crowd inhale because one clean touch and this could turn into absolute chaos in the box. France look like they've pinched those passing lanes shut in the middle. Suddenly it's crowded, elbows out, no oxygen. If the other side don't adjust quick, they'll be coughing up the ball in a really nasty zone. Yeah, that's the danger. France can look like they're strolling through a park and then suddenly it's a fire drill. Tenaglia is sniffing it out, and if they keep getting casual, one nicked ball and it's sirens in the penalty area. France are playing with that "we've got this" swagger, but it's flirting with trouble. One sloppy touch and the whole stadium wakes up. Tenaglia is looking lively and he'll punish any casual pass like it owes him money. France are coasting on confidence here, but it's a thin line between cool and careless. Tenaglia's got that hungry look. Keep gifting him half chances and you'll see panic spread through blue shirts fast. IMO, we're talking upsets and big favorites like France, Spain. Give us your market-style read. Are the blue chips wobbling? And who's the undervalued team grabbing points?
France keeps leaking, now 0.58, 0.59, so the crowd's fading the favorite in slow motion, not panicking, but definitely de-risking. Senegal holding 1.7 0 point, with rising bid depth, feels like a team winning second balls. If France...
Ha! That's the kind of shout you only get on a live mic. Plays in the end, I'll take it. And you're right, everywhere you look there's a story brewing, and France can't afford to sleepwalk with upsets lurking in the shadows. Full strength on the pitch now, and you can feel the tempo itching to rise. No more excuses, no more easing in. Ilimanenga is the kind of name that pops up when the game gets messy, and Gary Henry will be loving this edge. They've rolled out the big guns now, and that usually means the next 5 minutes are a warning shot to everyone watching. Ilimanenga's got that spark you can't coach, and Gary Henry's words will be ringing in their ears. Make it count now.
Senegal gives back that tick to 0.1 cent, seems 0.18, but notice the bid depth keeps building. There's real support underneath even if the price wobbles. France is still stuck 0.58, 0.59, so this feels like a favorite protecting a one-goal lead and just trying not to... Absolutely. When a playmaker like Dembélé starts dictating, it's like a mega cap breaking VW app and algos pile in, spreads tighten, and the tape turns one way. But if the follow-through shot doesn't come, that bid can fade fast. Classic head...
Dembélé's only flashed once, but that one flash had Senegal slamming the door like it was on fire. And now Mbappe sniffs a little space. Half a yard is a mile for him, and you can feel the panic ripple through that back line.
Totally. When you give Mbappe space, that's gap risk, and the market prices it with wider spreads and lighter size on the offer, because nobody wants to be the one standing in front of the breakout. You hedge by paying up for France and trimming exposure to the draw. Protect the
Mbappe with that kind of room at 16 yards. Senegal are playing with matches near petrol there. 5 goals off immortality too, and you just know every touch now carries that record book electricity.
We're basically unchanged on price. France still 0.5960. So the market's saying control, not kill. But the draw bid depth is slipping again while ask walls stay huge, which tells you traders are fading chaos and leaning back to the favorite.
Mbappe slips the leash again. Give him that pocket near the box, and it's like handing a painter a blank canvas. 5 goals from the all-time World Cup summit, and Senegal's warning lights are blazing every time he turns. Klose still sat on that throne with 16, but Mbappe on 12 is stalking it like a striker smells blood. Doué just tickles that pass into Rabiot, and you can feel the experience in this French side. So many survivors from the last final, they look unfazed. Klose's record is still the summit at 16, but Mbappe on 12 is climbing like a man with a jetpack. Doué just slips a cheeky little pass into Rabiot, and with 7 starters from that last final, France look like they've been here 1,000 times. Absolutely. France don't just reload, they upgrade like a club with an endless academy cheat code. That's why everyone expects them deep into the tournament again. The attack has pace, power, and options, and it never feels like it's running out of ideas.
Exactly. France is the high-growth name with a premium multiple, but if the balance sheet wobbles on one counter, that multiple compresses fast. Mbappe's space is upside optionality. The backline is the credit rating that keeps the bid underneath.
Mbappe starts out wide, then just slingshots back inside, blink, and he's in your blind spot. The delivery's not quite landing yet, but it feels ominous because he's getting into those pockets far too easily, like the defense has left the door on the latch. From Senegal's view, that's alarm bells. He's strolling around the box like he owns the postcode. 3 or 4 times in 14 minutes is far too generous because one clean touch from him and the net could be shaking.
Big shift in posture. France bid depth just surged to about 195k, while price stays 0.60. Buyers are stacking the midfield waiting for the break. Senegal's bid depth also popped with a chunky 0.1 That France bid depth just cooled off hard from the spike, while the draw-ask wall got even heavier. Classic liquidity mirage. Someone flashed size, then pulled it. Senegal ticking up to 17% is a small sentiment nudge, but this tape still feels range-bound. Totally. When the emotion's high, you get earnings day volatility. One bad tackle is a guidance cut and the whole book reprices in seconds. That's when spreads widen, stops get hunted, and the draw trade suddenly looks like the safe haven.
Senegal really are in that golden window, strong streetwise, and they've got that big game swagger now. A few lads over 30, sure, but that can be priceless in a World Cup. Calm heads, hard tackles, and no panic when it gets frantic.
We're still stuck at France 059.060, but the tell is positioning. France ask depth is swelling near 946k, so rallies are getting sold into. Senegal's ask depth dropped, which means if they land one clean counter, the move up could be sharper than people expect.
You can feel it, can't you? This has that last dance edge for Senegal. Every minute suddenly heavier. Koundé on it now, and France just looks so composed, like they're tightening the screws one pass at a time. It really does feel like a last roll of the dice for this Senegal core. Every touch has that urgency, that now or never energy. Upamecano to Koundé, and France are knitting it together with that cool, clinical rhythm.
Exactly. This is like a big fund sitting in cash, letting volatility burn out, then hitting the tape when liquidity shows. France are managing downside first, and when the opening appears, they'll try to gap it like a breakout trade. France is still pinned 0.59, 0.60, but bid depth is creeping back up. Buyers are quietly rebuilding the wall. Senegal's top bid jumping to 0.15 says the underdog crowd is stepping closer to the ball, so any headline moment could spark a quick repricing.
IMO. Senegal's AFCON fallout is still under appeal. Coach regrets walking the team off in that final, and there's talk of a 5-game ban. Feels like governance risk. How do you price that kind of uncertainty into a squad's momentum and federation stability?
Yeah, that's pure governance overhang, like a stock with an SEC probe. Even if fundamentals look fine, buyers demand a discount until the ruling lands. It can sap confidence and tighten risk limits, so momentum gets choppy and the draw gets a sneaky bid. France bid depth just jumped to about 170k while the ask stack eased. Buyers are getting braver, even though price is still glued at 0.59 or 0.60. Draw asks thickened, so that safe trade is getting crowded. If France...
It's Morocco's crown right now, and you can feel the stadium buzzing like a live wire. This is a proper early chess match with tackles as pawns and space as the king. Allez, France will wait, but one sharp move and the whole board flew. Yeah, you're seeing that French fire brigade in midfield, Rabiot and Tchouaméni sitting deep, sniffing out danger before it even sparks. And then the front lines start drifting inside like sharks circling. Mbappe, Dembélé, Doué, one quick turn and Senegal are suddenly...
Not much movement on the scoreboard price-wise. France still 590.60, but the tape feels supported with bid depth holding near 170k while the offer stays heavy. Senegal's sell wall is thinning a touch, so the upset is low probability, high velocity if
Exactly. Too many blue shirts dropping in like kids crowding the sweet jar, and suddenly there's no one stretching the pitch. They need one conductor to stay high and play the killer note, otherwise Senegal will keep stepping up and squeezing the life out of it. It's screaming for Doué to be that link, someone who can take it on the half turn and punch a pass through the lines, because right now, Upamecano's basically the playmaker. If he's your main distributor, Senegal will happily let you have it and wait for the mistake.
France just ticked up a cent to Euro.60, 0.61. Small move, but it's the market leaning into the favorite as offers thin out. At the same time, Senegal bid depth got clipped hard, so the underdog backers are backing off and liquidity's getting one-sided.
Chouameni drifting right, trying to find a new door into the house, and bang, the first effort gets smothered like a fire blanket thrown over it. That block from Nyakite is massive because one clean strike there and the whole mood flips. Dembele's got it, and you can feel the crowd lean forward. He's the kind of player who turns a quiet moment into chaos with one shimmy. If Senegal give him a yard, he'll paint something dangerous on that right side. Theo Hernandez steaming on, and you just know he loves these big stage moments. Fullback with a striker's appetite, and Mbappe in finals, that's like a cheat code. Give him a runway, and he'll light the fuse in a heartbeat. Theo Hernandez is revving up down that flank, and with Mbappe nearby, it's like handing France a match and a can of petrol. He's got that finals instinct, one burst, one touch, and suddenly the stadium's holding its breath.
France is back to looking like the team with possession. Bid depth rebuilt to 169k while price holds 0.59, 0.60, so buyers are defending that line. Senegal's still got a massive sell wall near
IMO. That misses like a blue chip stock whiffing earnings. Big chance, no return. How do you see momentum swings like that affecting the market of this match? He's got to pull the trigger there. When you're in that channel, you don't look for the postcard cross, you go for the headline finish. With that scoring record, the box is begging for a shot, not a floated apology.
Now you're seeing that post-miss wobble in the tape. Draw bid depth just cratered and Senegal's bids basically vanished, so liquidity is thin and any trade can move price. France still holds RON 590.60, but with this kind
Koundé steps in, and Chouameni brings that midfield muscle like a bouncer with a velvet touch. You can feel the tempo rising here, those two snapping passes around like they're trying to crack the game open. IMO, they're talking $600,000 figures around Valverde and Chouameni. Give us the money angle, bonuses, valuations, and how that kind of cash talk affects players on a big stage.
liquidity just snapped back, draw bids rebuilt, and Senegal's bid depth jumped to 41k, so the market's pricing a bit more scrappy game flow. France is still the favorite, 80.59, 0.60, but that France ask depth swell.
IMO, they're talking about a 600k figure in a Real Madrid scuffle. Valverde in hospital, Chouameni dubbed the middleweight champ. Any idea what that money angle is? Fines, settlement, bonus talk?
Yeah, Leo, that 600k sounds like rumor-grade headline risk. Could be a settlement, a fine, or just a made-up number that traders love to anchor to. In market terms, it's a volatility grenade, reputational overhang, distraction factor, and suddenly
Senegal's fans are turning this place into a home game. Drums, flags, the whole heartbeat of the stands. That kind of backing can lift tired legs and rattle opponents, especially when the pressure starts to squeeze in a World Cup.
odds are basically pinned. France still 60%, 80.59, 0.60, but the tell is depth thinning on France and Senegal's asks ballooning, so sellers are leaning hard into any rally. That's a classic late-game nerves book. One big chance and the price gaps like
Tamara had it, then coughs it up. Doué pounces, but Rabiot snaps in and wins the midfield scrap. And now Mbappe's on his bike. You can feel the stadium lean forward because when he accelerates, panic spreads fast. Mbappe starts to motor, but Rabiot keeps it ticking, and they'll take the corner. Smart, no need to force it. Diatta does brilliantly to get back and nick it, but that's pressure piling up like waves on a seawall. Mbappe starts to motor, but Rabiot keeps it ticking, and they'll take the corner. Smart, no need to force it. Diatta does brilliantly to get back and nick it, but that's pressure piling up like waves on a seawall. France try to take it quick, catch them napping, but the dribble fizzles. No magic this time. Patty clips it forward, looking for Sar to spin in behind, and Uba reads it like a book again. Absolutely spotless defending.
France just got a clean 1 cent markdown to 0.58, 0.59. Small move, but it tells you sellers are finally winning a tackle in midfield. Meanwhile, draw bid depth is rising, so the crowd's hedging like it's heading to extra time, even if the headline still says France edge.
Meccano is made for that duel. Stands him up, nicks it clean, and then he's calm enough to keep it. That's elite. Pat Polilisi tries to spear it toward Mbappe, but you can sense the defenders are glued to him like a shadow.
Now that's a real momentum shift. France slips again to 0.57, 0.58, while Senegal bid depth explodes, with a chunky wall sitting right at 0.16. Feels like the underdog's pressing high and the favorites' backline is suddenly clearing it long. More two-way risk from here.
Meccano loves that one-on-one. He holds his nerve, wins it, and then keeps the ball like it's on a string. That pass is sniffing out Mbappe, but the backline is reading it early. No free runway today. Oof, that was a touch too ambitious. And Mendy flirting with danger like he's juggling fireworks. He just about finds Patty in the nick of time, but Senegal didn't need that scare. You could hear a few hearts hit the floor. They're pleading for the free kick, but the Aussie ref waves it away. No charity today. Third World Cup for Agani, and he's wearing that experience like armor, letting the contact go and keeping the tempo rolling. They're begging for that free kick, but the Australian referee is stone-faced, nothing doing. Third World Cup for Agani, and he's making it clear, you're not buying soft whistles tonight, keep playing. Imo, that Jackson counter was like a penny stock spike. One-man run, nearly the jackpot. Talk to me, how do you keep your nerve when everything's flying and you're seconds from glory?
Absolutely, Leo. That's pure momentum trading. You don't freeze, you stick to your levels, and let the tape confirm before you chase. When the crowd's roaring, the spread widens, and mistakes get punished. So you play it like a striker. Head up, one touch, finish.
Jackson smashes the post on the counter, one sloppy Mbappe touch away from disaster. That's like a blue chip stock suddenly wobbling on bad execution. How do you read that momentum swing?
Exactly, Leo. One bad touch and the market reprices the whole story, even if the fundamentals haven't changed. When the favorite looks shaky, liquidity runs to the exits and the underdog gets a bid, like a crowd sensing blood after a near miss. France gets a tiny bounce to 0.55, 0.56, but the real story is that massive sell wall, over 1.mm on the ask, still sitting like a defensive line at the top of the box. Senegal's bid depth just thinned hard, so the upset bid is losing steam, but
Jackson's so close he can taste it. Off the post, then it ricochets again and somehow stays out. Unbelievable. Mbappe's loose touch nearly turns into a nightmare, and Senegal are suddenly smelling blood here. That keeper's living on the edge. Corner whipped in with real venom at the near stick, and France are happy just to get it away and breathe. And now the whistle for a drinks break. 0-0, but it's crackling. Senegal asking serious questions. Imo, this match feels like a market on the brink.
Totally, Leo. This is a coiled spring market where everyone's positioned, but nobody wants to show their hand. One clean chance is a headline candle. Spreads snap, stops get hit, and momentum traders pile in like a last-minute winner.
Senegal are the ones pressing and nearly nicked it early. France and Mbappe still quiet. Feels like a market where the underdog's momentum is driving the price action. Got a quick analogy for viewers?
Yep, this is a small cap rallying on pure momentum while the mega cap just grinds sideways, waiting for one catalyst. Senegal's press is like aggressive dip buyers forcing the tape, and France is the heavyweight conserving energy for a late breakout.
This game's like a jittery market. Senegal pressing and creating the early volatility. France still waiting for Mbappe to move the needle. What's your take on momentum swings like this?
Exactly. Early momentum is loud, but it's fragile if it doesn't convert into a goal, just like a breakout that needs volume follow-through. If France lands one clean Mbappe run, you'll see a violent repricing and the late chasers sprint in.
Senegal started brighter. France a bit flat and Mbappe quiet. Feels like a blue chip stock under pressure early. What's your read on when the market leader wakes up? We're back after that little ad break and the football's still simmering. Senegal have shown the sharper teeth early while Mbappe's been kept on a tight leash for now. But you just know, one burst of pace and the whole stadium could tilt. IMO, they're talking Mbappe needs to be more passable. That's like telling a blue chip to stop leading the index. Jump in. Is it smarter to diversify the attack or let your star keep taking the shots?
I get it, but you don't bench your best striker because the first few trades were red. Stars draw the double team, and that's what opens the rest of the book. Let Mbappe keep threatening, but use him like a magnet to free the secondary runners for the clean finish.
IMO, they're talking about Zlatan coming back. Pure headline volatility. Give us the market take, nostalgia trade or real value add, and what it does to a club's brand and revenues.
Yeah, that's headline volatility at its finest. Zlatan's a nostalgia trade that can still print on merch, tickets, and sponsorship buzz, even if minutes are managed. On the pitch, it's more impact sub than full season alpha, but the brand lift is real.
Oh my word, Zlatan will be back. That's not a quote, that's a warning label. If he's even sniffing a comeback, defenders everywhere are checking their insurance and their ego at the door. Friday on Fox, and you can feel the buzz already. Pulisic leading the charge like a man with a point to prove. The Stars and Stripes don't want a polite start. They want to slam the door early and set the tone. And we're back in this booth. USA versus Australia. That's a proper test. No freebies in this one. You just know the tempo's going to be sharp from the first whistle. And if the Americans start fast, it could get loud in a hurry.
No tape right now, so this is a pure sentiment market. Spreads can widen, and any single order can move price like a thinly traded small cap. In these moments, the story drives the swing until liquidity comes back and reality reprices it.
Absolutely, Landon. This tournament punishes arrogance like a bad tackle in the box. France look a bit on cruise control, and Senegal are sniffing that weakness like sharks in the water. If the favorites don't wake up, they'll get bitten.
Liquidity's back, and it's still a seller's pitch. France sits 0.554, 0.55 with over $1 million on the ask, so rallies get met like a packed defense. Draw bid depth improved, but that massive offer stack says the crowd's leaning no surprises unless we get a real momentum swing.
You can almost hear the halftime door slam from here. Someone's had a few choice words, no doubt. If France come out with that sleepy swagger again, Senegal will pounce, but if the champs click into gear, this could flip in a heartbeat.
We're seeing liquidity drain on the bid side across the board. France bid depth down to 83K, and Senegal's basically a puddle, so any negative headline could slip this fast. Yet the prices aren't breaking, which tells you there's still a stubborn France favorite angle.
Oh, absolutely. This has that feel, doesn't it? Like the match is holding its breath. One moment of brilliance, one lapse, and the whole story changes in a flash. You can see the familiarity. Those Lion defenders know the tricks. They've seen it every week in League One. That ball comes in, and it's dealt with calmly, like swatting away a fly. No panic at all. Mbappe sniffing that runway from deep. Give him 10 yards and he's a cheetah out of the cage, but Senegal nick it, and Jackson wriggles out of trouble beautifully, slips it to Sarr, and suddenly France are backpedaling. Mbappe wanted the whole pitch to himself there. Those feet can light up a stadium in 2 touches, but Jackson turns nuisance into danger, muscles through the squeeze and finds Sarr. That's a warning flare for France's backline.
France just got marked down a tick to 0.53, 0.54. Small move, but it's the first sign the market's taking a bit of profit and respecting variance. Meanwhile, the draw ask wall is getting heavier, so upside there looks capped unless the game state screams stalemate.
Mbappe's looking oddly sloppy, unforced turnovers, while Jackson's making a statement after that Chelsea stick. Got any market sentiment take on confidence swings and pressure like Kane's shadow at Bayern?
Totally. When a star looks tight, the market starts pricing human error fast, and that's when the draw and underdog get a sneaky bid. Jackson's playing like fresh money with nothing to lose, while Mbappe's carrying the armband like Kane carrying expectations.
Sarr snatches at it and it skids wide, but Jackson's playing like a man with receipts to show. He's throwing elbows at reputations out there, and Mbappe with another loose touch. That's not his usual silk, that's sandpaper. IMO, Mbappe's looking unusually sloppy, like a blue chip stock having a weird dip. What do you make of a superstar wobble mid-game?
Yeah, that's the temporary drawdown moment. One bad stretch and the crowd starts hedging the favorite, even if the fundamentals haven't changed. Superstars wobble like a top seed conceding early. Sentiment flips quicker than the scoreboard, then snaps back if they land one. That's a clean momentum swing. France slips again to 0.52, 0.53, while the draw gets a firmer bid at 0.288, 0.29. Classic favorite wobble, hedge the stalemate behavior. Bid depth in France is rising though, so there are still buyers.
Jackson's clearance is a gift-wrapped invitation. France can't be handing out freebies in this heat, and you can feel that old Euros anxiety creeping in. All that talent, but if the finishing goes cold again, the pressure turns into a vice.
With the book feed down, I'm watching the tape. The big money's still heavily long France, up around 0.68, while the main fade is parked near 33.35. That's a crowded trade both ways. If France wobbles again, those long...
He's bursting to break loose. You can see it in every run, like a sprinter stuck behind a slow car. But it's that final moment that keeps slipping away, and at this level, you don't get many second invitations.
Now you're seeing the favorite leak. France down 2.51, 0.52, while the draw firms 2.299, 0.30. Market's basically saying this could get sticky. And that massive France ask depth is like defender.
That tweaks there, sure, but it's still too many blue shirts coming toward the ball instead of beyond it. Senegal are loving this. They can hold their line and read it like a book. France need bodies arriving in the box, otherwise it's shadow boxing.
Yes, star names don't matter if the system misallocates them. That's a portfolio with great tickers but bad weighting and no diversification. When roles overlap, you get congestion and no penetration, like a midfield packed with safe assets and zero growth.
Lamine Camara looks like he's got that streetlight swagger, head up, quick feet, always a half second ahead of the press. You can see why he turns heads at youth level. He's playing like the ball's on a string. Camera's got that blue chip prospect vibe, calm under pressure, always finding space. Give us the market comp. What's the football equivalent of a stock that just keeps beating expectations?
Absolutely. He's the compounder that quietly prints earnings every quarter while the flashy names grab headlines. On the pitch, that's the midfielder who's always available, wins second balls, and keeps the tempo. Steady alpha, no drama, unlike me on a red candle. France is still pinned 80.51, 0.52, but that ask depth ballooning screams overhead supply. Plenty of folks ready to sell the favorite into any pop. Draw liquidity's holding, so if this stays cagey, the market keeps grinding like A00 with no shot. Senegal just ticked down to 0.1 key, 0.19. Market's fading the upset a bit, and with that thin bid stack, it won't take much selling to push it further. France is still glued at 0.51, 0.52, but the real story is liquidity draining on the draw side.
Senegal are furious. You can feel it in the air, like they've had something nicked right off the shelf. France are prowling for that one loose touch, that one wobble, but the final punch just isn't landing yet. Senegal are still seething, and that kind of anger can either fuel you or fry you. France keeps sniffing around the edge of danger, waiting for the door to creak open, but right now it's just a rattle, no breakthrough.
Draw just firmed up to 0.30 or 0.31 with bid depth doubling. Money's paying up for stalemate insurance as the game stays tight. France hasn't budged off UI 0.52, so the favorite's not getting fresh love yet. It's like possession with no end problem.
Niakate for Senegal from the western edge where the sunsets glow. Now Deontay on the go, making that run. Here we go. France have to track it quick because one slip and that lane turns into pain. Niakate for Senegal out west where the Atlantic roars and Deontay's bursting forward. He's asking questions at the back door. France have got to shuffle fast because that run can turn a quiet moment into chaos.
France just slipped a tick to above 0.51 and bid depth got cut nearly in half. Buyers are backing off. That's a momentum fade. Meanwhile, the draw is holding sway 0.31, so the market's basically pricing a scrappy midfield battle, not a French blowout.
Down the right they fly, and Kamara's delivery, oh, that's nearly picture perfect, just begging for a finish. One more touch, one cleaner connection, and France are in real trouble there.
With the book feed down, I'm watching the positioning tells huge France longs up at 0.666, 0.68 versus Big Bears around 0.33, 0.35. So it's a crowded trade on...
IMO quick one. Viewer asks, is Issoumeni okay for Villarreal after they finish third, and mentions Atletico Madrid's insane head? Can you jump in with the context and any market club angle?
On Issoumeni, okay, is the keyword. Availability is the real currency, and Villarreal finishing third gives them budget and patience, like a team with strong cash flow. That Atletico insane head chatter feels like rumor-driven volatility.
Villarreal in third, Isumane's looking just fine, living the good life on that yellow submarine line, and Atletico's boss is grinning at the top of the table like a banker watching green candles climb. Imo, quick one. Villarreal sitting third and Atletico's boss smiling at the top. Give us a market-style take on that kind of form and momentum, like a stock on a hot streak.
Totally. Villarreal in third is that steady uptrend with higher lows, not flashy, but buyers keep stepping in. Atletico smiling at the top is pure momentum leadership. When the champ looks relaxed, everyone else trades like they're chasing the breakout.
Imo, Senegal 2002, Papa Bouba Diop, the wardrobe. What a moment of history. Tie it to underdog stories and momentum swings like a market breakout, yeah?
Absolutely. Senegal 2002 was the classic small cap breakout. One big catalyst goal and suddenly the whole market reprices the underdog. Papa Bouba Diop was the volume spike that made believers, and after that, momentum did the heavy lifting.
Senegal surging forward again. What a wave of memory and momentum, and Papa Bouba Diop's spirit feels right there in the roar. The wardrobe could arrive in the box like a moving wall, and this attack's got that same fearless bite. Senegal come again, quick feet, brave hearts, and you can feel that 2002 swagger in the air. Papa Bouba Diop, the wardrobe, what a legend, built like a fortress and still popping up with goals when it mattered most.
France is priced like the favorite at 49%, but look at that lopsided sell-side depth. Asks dwarf bids across the board, so upside could feel heavy unless fresh buyers show up. Senegal's only 19% with thin bid depth, so any positive catalyst is...
Sarr just glides, doesn't he? Like he's skating on fresh grass, and you're spot on. France's front four are pure fireworks, but if they don't track back, Senegal will keep finding those little pockets like loose change in a sofa. France looking casual and a bit careless, Senegal keeping the ball to force them into extra defensive running. Any market-style take on complacency risk and energy expenditure over 90 minutes? France finally stitching a move together, Koundé charging on, and Mbappe darts like a knife to the near post. But the pass is just off behind him, and you can feel the chance evaporate in the air.
France just slipped a touch, 49%, and the price shading down a cent, while the ask stack got even heavier. So sentiments turning from sure thing to prove it. Senegal liquidity is back, but it's still the classic underdog setup.
Play stops at last, and all eyes swing to Sarr. He's been down in age, and that's never a good sign. France didn't have to put it out, but you can feel the mood shift. Senegal's bench will be holding its breath here.
Draw just firmed up to 33% with the bid ticking higher, so the market's basically pricing stalemate momentum as the base case. France is stuck at 50% with a massive sell wall overhead, like trying to score against a parked bus, so it'll take a real catalyst.
Fingers crossed, it's one of those bruisers that hurts like mad but doesn't do real damage because getting sat on in a challenge is agony. If he can rise and run it off, Senegal breathe again. If not, that's a serious blow. Imo, quick take. New rule forcing players off after treatment like a temporary trading halt. Does it change incentives and behavior? Also, ref says incorrect decision. What's your angle on rule clarity versus market regulation?
Totally. Forcing a player off is like a volatility pause. It discourages fake injuries the way halts deter spoofing, but it also creates short, exploitable windows for momentum swings. And when the ref admits a wrong call, that's the market's nightmare.
Imo, quick one. Refs apparently got the new injury trainer rule wrong, and it's forcing Sarr off. Feels like a regulation risk moment. Got a take on how rule changes can swing outcomes like market shocks?
Yeah, that's pure regulation risk. One misapplied rule is like a surprise policy headline that moves the whole tape before anyone can hedge. For Senegal, it's a forced substitution window, and France gets a free power play, so odds can jump on something that isn't even...
Refs stoppage forces Sarr off for a minute. Senegal down to 10 due to an incorrect decision. Any quick take on how a 1-minute penalty like this swings momentum like a sudden liquidity shock in markets?
Exactly. Going down to 10 is a sudden liquidity drain. Spacing collapses, mistakes spike, and the favorite can press like a market maker smelling blood. Even a minute can reprice everything if it leads to one clean chance.
Imo, this new injury rule is like a bad market circuit breaker. Ref makes one wrong call and suddenly Senegal are down to 10 for a minute. What do you make of rules that punish the team because of an official's misread?
Yeah, that's the ugly part. When enforcement error creates the penalty, it's like a regulator fat-fingering a halt and the wrong stock gets crushed. Markets hate that because it rewards randomness, not skill, and you see it instantly in wider spreads and panic.
Refs stoppage forces Senegal down to 10 for a minute like a bad market halt, one wrong call, and you're suddenly shorthanded. Got a quick take on how a tiny rule tweak can swing the whole game like volatility?
Absolutely. Small rule tweaks are like changing margin requirements mid-match. The whole risk profile shifts instantly. 1 minute at 10 men can flip territory, force a rushed clearance, and suddenly the odds move like a breakout candle.
IMO, this 1 minute sin bin rules just punished Senegal for a ref's mistake. 10 men through no fault of their own. Feels like a market circuit breaker triggered by the wrong signal. What's your take on rules that amplify errors?
Yeah, that's the nightmare scenario. Rules meant to calm chaos end up magnifying a bad input, like an algo halting the wrong name and liquidity vanishes. In that minute, momentum swings to the favorite and the price of the game moves before fairness can catch up.
IMO, this new 1 minute sin bin style rule is brutal. Senegal down to 10 because the ref missed the foul. Feels like a bad trade triggered by the wrong signal. How do you see rule risk when the decision maker gets it wrong? Kembele whips it in with that wicked bend, but Koulibaly rises like a lighthouse in a storm and heads it clear. Senegal needed that. France are circling, though. You can feel the pressure tightening with every delivery. Mbappe's been a flicker so far, but you know what that means. One spark and the whole stadium catches fire. France keep feeding him, waiting for that jet heel burst that turns defenders into spectators. Mbappe's only shown us little glimpses, but that's the danger. He doesn't need a warm-up. He needs a yard. Senegal can't blink for a second because the moment he hits top gear, it's curtains. Koulibaly again. He's playing like a one-man fire brigade back there, stamping out every French spark. That cross had a nasty skip on it too, and he just says no thanks and shovels it out for safety. France are knocking hard.
France is still stuck 8.049 minus 0.5e, but notice the draw bid depth is building fast. Money's leaning into this stays level while waiting for a breakthrough. Senegal's bid firmed back to 0.1 scene with chunky size 8.0.1.
IMO, Mbappe's playing like a blue chip stock, quiet, then suddenly one touch off the knee and it could spike either way. That kind of volatility in the box, what's your market analogy for a moment like that?
Totally. He's an earnings catalyst in boots. Nothing for 20 minutes, then one touch and the whole tape gaps. In those moments, spreads widen, weak hands flinch, and the price moves on instinct before the replay even loads.
Goalless, but it's crackling now. Senegal have just brushed the paint off the post, and you can feel France wobble for a heartbeat. And IMO, that messy teaser's like a blue chip stock tip mid-match. Everyone's leaning in, nobody blinking. France still haven't hit top gear. It's like the engine's purring, but nobody's floored the pedal yet. That run from deep was the right idea. One clean pass, and suddenly the backline's in a foot race they don't want. You can see the pattern. Those little inside pockets are starting to open, and Hamer's sniffing them out like a midfielder with a map. Olise dropping that deep is interesting too. He's trying to pull strings, but France needs someone higher up to turn it into a punch.
Market's basically frozen in a tight range. France still 0.49, 0.50. So traders are saying, show me the shot on target before they chase. But liquidity's thinning on the bid side across the board, and that's when one big play can gap this like a breakaway goal.
Senegal will happily let France stroke it around in that central lane. If it's all in front of them, it's like shadow boxing, no damage done. Second half's the real test. Do France find a dagger pass, or does Senegal keep them in that safe little cage? France have to lift it, no doubt. Right now, it's all prologue and not enough plot. If they want this to be a long story, they need a moment of spark. Quicker tempo, sharper runs, and someone brave enough to force the issue. France have to lift it, no doubt. Right now, it's all prologue and not enough plot. If they want this to be a long story, they need a moment of spark. Quicker tempo, sharper runs, and someone brave enough to force the issue. Nothing's guaranteed out here. That's the beauty and the brutality of it. Oh, that's the warning flare. One ball in behind, and suddenly France are scrambling, eyes darting to Hernandez like, bail us out. You can't keep wasting breaks and then expect to dodge that kind of danger forever.
That little pop in the draw just got sold back down, 0.33, 0.34 again. So the market's fading the nil-nil grind narrative for now. France still can't lift off or force 0.5e though, which screams stalemate. Lots of possession, not enough.
France looked like a blue-chip stock with no earnings, loads of possession, zero punch. That Dembele break fizzled with another sloppy pass feels like a market overvalued on hype. Quick take?
Nailed it. This is a premium multiple with no guidance and the tape's starting to yawn. When the final ball keeps missing, money rotates to the draw and the underdog like a late defensive block stealing a point.
It does feel like the shirt's heavy tonight, like they're playing with a backpack full of expectations. Not arrogance, but that casual touch, that half-second hesitation. But at this level, it's a tax you pay immediately, and Senegal are right there with the receipt. IMO, this group's already throwing shocks. Norway smashing Italy, France looking flat. Give us your market volatility take. Are we seeing a tournament correction or just opening day noise?
Bit of both, Leo. Opening day noise creates the first overreaction, but it also forces a real repricing of big name certainty. It's like week one in the league. Favorites still win the title race, but the spreads widen fast when intensity level.
You're spot on. No sirens yet, but France look like they've turned up in second gear and the tournament doesn't wait for anyone. And that group is spicy. Norway smashing Italy just cranks the pressure up. Suddenly every point feels like gold dust. Douay tries the little bit of theater with the back heel. Nice idea, but it dies on the spot. And Sarr, every touch is forward. Every touch is a question to France's backline. Do you fancy a sprint race?
Draws back up to 0.34, 0.35. Buyers keep nibbling, but that massive sell-side depth says nobody wants to chase it like it's a sure thing. France stuck 8, 0.48, 0.49 is the tell. The favorites not getting rewarded. Liquidity's thinning on the draw bid side. Depth dropped hard, so that 0.34 looks a bit like a weak defensive line if Senegal counterpunches. France still pinned 8 to 0.48, 0.49, and until they create a real shot-on-target moment, traders won't pay up.
6 minutes added. Plenty of time for one of those sucker punches before the break. Deschamps will be prowling on that touchline thinking, do I tweak it now or give them the hairdryer at halftime? Yeah, this has proper number 9 written all over it. Someone to pin the center backs and give France a target instead of all that pretty passing with no punch. If Deschamps rolls the dice with Mateta or Sarr, the whole rhythm can flip in 5 minutes.
We're seeing the draw get better supported again. Bid depth just refilled, so the market's bracing for a grind rather than a breakout. France price won't lift until that huge overhead supply gets chewed through. Right now, it's like trying to score against a parked bus with no striker.
That's the scary thing about France. They can look a bit off, miss a few simple ones, and still stroll out with the result like it's in their back pocket. Tournament teams don't always sparkle, they just survive, then they strike.
Draw liquidity just faded again. Bid depth slid while the ask stack stays heavy, so that 0.34 support looks shakier than it did a minute ago. France still can't break 0.49, but if this turns into late pressure, the draw is the one that can gap fast.
IMO, Barca needing cash and talk of cashing in. How do you see that balancing act? And what's your read on the Anthony Gordon links in market terms?
Yeah, Barca's basically a leveraged club trying to refinance mid-season, sell an asset now, but you risk weakening the product that generates the revenue. Anthony Gordon links feel like a momentum trade. Pricey when the tape's hot, and you'd better have a clear role or it mean...
Koulibaly stepping in brings that old school authority, shoulders back, chest out, and suddenly the back line looks like it's got a bouncer on the door. And when you rotate like that after the USA game, it's a message. Fresh legs, same ambition, and the tempo can jump it.
Draw bids just reloaded again, depth back near 119K, so traders are leaning into the stalemate like a team happy to see out A0-0 away. France is still stuck under that 0.49 ceiling with a ton of supply overhead, so it's pressure with... Now you're seeing a little risk off. France ticks down to 0.47, 0.48, while the draw nudges up to 0.35, 0.36, like the crowd starting to play for penalties. That shrinking draw bid depth says it's a thin rally, though. One big chance either way, and this flips fast.
They're talking Barcelona needing cash, possibly cashing in on a player, and even a mention of Anthony Gordon. Can you riff on the selling to balance the books angle like a transfer market earnings call?
Exactly, that's the market teeing up a breakout and then whiffing, everyone leans in, and the snapback is brutal. After a miss like that, you often see France money step up and the draw gets sold like momentum swinging on one botched tap-in. There it is, France bid depth just ballooned to 279K, that's fresh money stepping in after the miss like a team sensing blood. But look at that 0.49 wall with 8 and 10K shares. Big resistance, so upside's capped unless buyers keep pressing. Yep, that's the tape shrugging off red flags until one clean Senegal finish and you get a gap down. The wake-up call is France's bid getting pulled at 0.47 and the draw getting lifted through 0.036. Fast. That's totally. This is the pricey favorite trading on reputation while the underdog is winning the underlying XG earnings. If Senegal keeps generating chances, you'll see a quick repricing. France drifts, draw tightens, and the crowd finally stops paying the brand premium.
They're pouring the electrolytes like it's extra time already. France could use a gallon of that to wake the legs up. Stoppage time for a life like no other. I'll take it, as long as Senegal don't nick the winner while we're watching commercials. The sponsors are in full flow. Breakfast, third night, electrolytes. It's like they're prepping us for a marathon finish, but the real energy drink is momentum, and Senegal have been sipping it all half. France better come back with a jolt. Power your legacy. Love that, because on this stage, belief is oxygen. You run out and your legs turn to stone. France need to believe in that next pass, that next burst, or Senegal will smell fear and pounce like a striker on a loose ball. That's the line, isn't it? Ask the questions and the world answers. Well, the pitch answers fast and it's never polite. France have to ask with their feet now because Senegal's been replying with pressure and punch all night.
Senegal money is quietly building. Bid depth jumps to 370k and that 0.1 level is stacked like a packed penalty box, so downside protection is getting real. France still has support 80.47, but with nearly a million shares waiting 80.40.
There it is again. 1 second it's bless this, next it's come on like a manager on the touchline. That's the sound of tension, and it only takes one loose touch now for the stadium to explode. Ha! That's proper dressing room bickering. Left, right, you're not 12. Everyone's nerves showing. Tell you what, Amo would call that volatility. One tiny spark and the whole thing swings. Amo, that $25 a month, taxes and fees included pitch. Sounds like a fixed cost subscription play. What's the catch in the fine print, and how do markets usually price that kind of RPU promise?
Yeah, that's classic headline RPU marketing. Markets love the simplicity, but the catch is churn, promo roll-offs, and rising servicing costs that quietly eat margin. It's like a striker padding stats and friendlies. Investors wait for retention and unit economics.
I can't help you promote that ad copy, but I'll say this. $25 all in is the kind of simple number fans love. No VAR, no hidden fees, just bang. IMO, you'd sniff the fine print like a center back reading a through ball. Can't help push the promo, but that chronically connected line is basically every fan refreshing scores like it's a heartbeat monitor. And Visa on the halftime show. Money meets moments, Amo. That's your playground as much as mine.
Draw just got offered hard, ask depth swells, and that swipe 0.36 level is stacked, so the market's leaning stalemate unless someone lands a clean punch. France support thickens at swipe 472, but the swipe 49 sell wall is even bigger, keeping the favorite on a short.
Oh no, at the break, France surprisingly quiet. Feels like a blue chip stock stalling while the underdog keeps poking. Give us your take on momentum and pressure in these flat halves.
Totally. This is that range-bound tape where the favorite bleeds time value and the crowd starts pricing in frustration. In these flat halves, one sharp catalyst flips everything, but until then, the underdog's pressure is like steady volume, keeps the bid under the draw. We're still stuck in the same channel. France 0.47048 hasn't cracked, and that 0.49 supply is basically a defensive line holding firm. Draw remains the crowded trade 80.36, so unless France creates a real catalyst, time is working.
That's the word, uninspired, and you can't stroll through a World Cup like it's a Sunday kickabout. Wenger watching on too, and you know he'll be thinking, where's the tempo, where's the movement? And France need a spark, fast. It's the same story on loop. France sloppy, Senegal lethal on the break, and that post is the only thing keeping it level. Jackson was a whisker away from turning this into a nightmare for the favorites. France need to wake up now.
You're seeing the draw bid thinning a bit, total bids keep leaking, yet the ask stack AT0.36 stays massive, so sellers still control that lane. France is unchanged AT0.47, 0.48 with the 0.49.
France are playing with the handbrake on, and Senegal are the ones throwing the punches, post, heel, then SAR blazing over. It could have been a horror show. If that's casual, it's the kind that gets you sent home early.
Big tell here, the draw just ticked down a cent and the sell side got even heavier, so that 0-0 comfort trade is getting faded. France still can't clear the 0.49 wall, favorites pinned like a top seed stuck in midfield.
That's the kind of half where the scoreboard flatters you. France sleepwalking while Senegal keep knocking on the door with a battering ram. SAR over the bar is mercy, not margin, and you can't play arrogant casual at this level without paying interest. IMO. France are playing like a blue chip that thinks it can't drop. Sloppy turnovers, Senegal hitting the post, and SAR missing a sitter. Give me your market correction take. How long can arrogance dodge punishment?
Exactly. When the favorite gets complacent, the market starts sniffing a correction before the headline goal hits. Senegal's near misses are like repeated tests of support. Keep tapping it and eventually it cracks, and France holders scramble like...
Absolutely. Senegal have had the cleaner, sharper moments, and France are living off the woodwork like it's their best defender. On another day, that's one, maybe two down, and suddenly the favorites label feels very heavy.
Totally. High expectations can turn into don't lose positioning, and that's when the favorite plays tight like a mega cap protecting guidance. A 0-0 start bleeds confidence slowly, and you'll see traders rotate into draw and underdog like a cautious flight. Absolutely. Confidence turns into dangerous leverage the moment you stop respecting downside, and that's when one counterpunch wipes out a whole position. France look like they're playing on margin, flashy, casual, and one bad turnover away from a forced liquidation.
Zlatan's right. If you don't carry yourself like a champion, the game will eat you alive. But there's a fine line. Ego gives you swagger, arrogance makes you switch off, and France flirting with that today, my word. The watch party's got a new signing. Welcome in, Wynaira. Grab a seat and buckle up. Alex is in the host chair, but the pitch is the real boss tonight, and it's asking France some nasty questions already. Ha! That's top-tier wordplay. He's been subbed on just for the pun, and I respect it. If the match stays this cagey, we might need a Lay's leg to kick it into gear.
Book's back, and it's screaming risk off on the favorite. France marked 48% with a heavy ask stack overhead, while the draw is a chunky 35%. That's the market pricing a sticky 0. Those big France longs from 0.66.
To be the GOAT, you've got to do it when the lights are hottest. Big games, big moments, no hiding. Sure, you can send defenders for a hot dog, but greatness is dragging your team over the line when legs are heavy and hearts are racing.
With the book gone again, you treat this like a trading halt mid-match. No price discovery, just nerves and rumor. The positioning still matters. France longs are crowded and underwater, so when liquidity returns, the first move can be a sharp gap, not a gentle drift.
Yes, that's the real champagne football, lifting the whole room, not just your own highlight reel. Here's to the greatest and to the ones who make everyone else believe they can be too.
France is still priced like the favorite at 48%, but look at that sell wall, asks Dwarf Bids, so upside is getting headed off at the box. Meanwhile, the draw is liquid and sticky around 3.4, 0.35, like a team happily parking the bus and killing.
IMO, they're talking strong partners and big event hosting in DC. That's sponsorship, venue economics, and tourism cash flow all day. What's the money angle when a city positions itself as the premier stage? IMO, this is a sponsorship shout. Care first backing big DC events. Give us a quick take on why strong partners matter like blue chip stability and how community investment plays into brand value.
Yep, strong partners are your blue chip anchor tenant. They de-risk the event budget and signal credibility so other sponsors follow. Community investment is brand equity compounding, like winning at home, because goodwill lowers customer churn and makes...
That's a proper sponsorship hat trick, healthcare, community, and then Nissan rolling in like a fresh set of legs in the 80th minute. If the fans are pushing those cars like they push their teams, you know it's pressure tested. IMO, that's brand equity with studs on. IMO, Nissan's leaning hard into tested by the toughest fan energy. How do you see that kind of sports-driven branding translating into real sales momentum and market sentiment?
Absolutely. Sports branding is momentum marketing. If fans feel the grit is authentic, it shortens the trust gap and nudges test drives into purchases. But if the product doesn't match the hype, it's a false dawn. Sentiment pops, then the stock gets booed off the pitch.
0% APR, oof, that's a clean sheet for your wallet, and Centra at that price is a tidy finish into the bottom corner. And Giant talking community savings? That's the kind of local support that keeps the stands full and the city humming. Giants playing the hometown anthem there. Every aisle feels like a warm-up lap around the neighborhood, and 3 matches later today, strap in because that's a triple header of drama waiting to explode.
France ticks down a hair and the story's the same. Massive supplies stacked right on the offer, now an even bigger wall, 8-8-4-8, so rallies are getting cleared like crosses into a packed box. That keeps the draw bid supported. Market's basically saying prove it before it pays off.
Holland against Iran. Those center backs will feel like they're defending a freight train on roller skates. Messi at 200 caps is a standing ovation moment, and the US have started like a rocket. But if Pulisic's hamstring whispers, Australia will pounce.
France holds 0.4748, but that 2.1 M share offer AT 0.48 is still a brick wall. Buyers are running into a back four that won't budge. Senegal's bid ticking up to 0.1 is the sneaky tell. Some money's hedging the upset.
That ad's got more assists than a prime Beckham highlight reel. Home Depot playing the number 10, spraying passes down the aisle. If David's backyard comes out World Cup ready, I want VAR checking those beehives for offside.
That France sell wall finally eases a bit. Ask depth drops, and the 0.48 stack is down to about 2.0 M, so there's a little more breathing room for a breakout. Senegal's book looks cleaner too, with a real 0.20 offer now, but the draw is still the market's safe pass.
There it is again. Chipotle pressing high, honey with the silky first touch to settle it down. That sweet heat combo is like a perfect 1-2, sharp, quick, and suddenly you're beaten before you know it.
France still can't get through 48, but that sell wall keeps shrinking, down to about 1.92 M, so the pressure's building like a team camping in the final third. Senegal's ask depth balloons, though, which screams liquidity trap if anyone tries to chase. Not much movement on price, but the tape's telling you where the fight is. France has a stubborn ceiling, 8-0-48, with roughly 1.9 M shares waiting to sell, so upside needs real momentum. Senegal's offer side keeps swelling near.
IMO, Metro saving $250. Give us the market angle. Is this the ultimate value play or just clever ad inflation? Tie it to consumer spending vibes. IMO, they're talking Metro savings over $250. Give me the market angle. Is this the classic value play that wins you the season or just a flashy promo run?
France is still pinned 0.47, but that 0.48 sell wall keeps getting chipped, down near 1.91 M, so one decent burst of buying could finally flip it. Senegal's ask depth is creeping over 1.0 M, which tells you the upset trade is crowded.
Oh, that's a bargain breakaway. Free phone, no activation fees, and Metro's waving the flag like they've just nicked it in stoppage time. And that keep asking line, that's the coach in your ear. Stay hungry, keep pressing, don't let the moment slip. Oh, that's a crunching bit of support in midfield. Advil with the tackle, and suddenly Tom's springing the counter like lightning. Tyler Adams driving it forward, and you're right, the best goals are born from that first clever little nudge.
Even with the book feed down, the flow screams France conviction. Latina just scaled up to over 1.0 M shares at a lower average, basically averaging down like a striker taking a second shot after a save penalty. But you've still got that big bearish France block sitting at. Absolutely, Leo. This is the roadshow. When the ad machine cranks this early, it's a confident signal that brands still want reach and can stomach pricing. But it also raises the bar for media names, miss the ratings, and it's like an IPO that opens flat.
IMO. Fox is teeing up the World Cup 2026 like a primetime IPO. Big sponsor slots, huge eyeballs. What's the ad market vibe when a tournament this size rolls in?
Yep, that's the Super Bowl on a month-long payment plan. Advertisers treat it like scarce inventory, and budgets get pulled forward. The vibe is bullish for pricing power, but if the economy wobbles, those commitments can turn into make goods fast. This book looks like it got yanked and reposted wide. Top levels at 01 and 99 are basically no real market. Liquidity just vanished. In that kind of spread, any hit can gap price like a counterattack after a sloppy back pass. So watch for sudden prints and whips.
Yeah, it's become the modern habit. Keep it in, keep the pressure cooking. Don't give the opponent a breather. Coaches love control like bankers love certainty. But one sloppy touch and that clever idea turns into a gift wrap chance. Absolutely, it's the fashion now. No more hoofing it out. They'd rather gamble on keeping the rhythm alive. But if you're not a real technician, it's like juggling in a windstorm. One wobble and you're chasing your own mistake. France are turning the dial up now. This is where they can look like a different species when they hit top gear. Rabiot keeps it ticking and Elise ghosting centrally, but you can feel the danger building with every touch.
Depth is still wildly lopsided, close to $1 million on the offer for France versus a much thinner bid stack, so upside looks capped unless new buyers step in. It's like France trying to play out from the back with Senegal pressing. One shove and you get a quick air pocket move.
IMO, they're talking new tournament format, 8 best. Give us the market analyst take. Does this kind of format change reward consistency or just add volatility like a playoff stock swing? France are starting to purr, and when they purr, it usually means someone's about to get scratched. Saliba steps in like a midfielder, Rabiot keeps the metronome going, and Elise in that pocket, oof, that's where trouble lives. Yeah, that safety net changes everything. Suddenly a draw feels like a decent investment instead of a disaster. Teams manage risk, keep the shape, and wait for one big moment. But it can turn into a game of chicken if nobody blinks. Totally, this format makes a point feel like a coupon you can cash later, so teams get a bit more conservative. The underdogs especially will sit tight, slow the tempo, and hope one counterpunch buys them a ticket onward. France can stare down any giant, no doubt, but you switch off for a second and the tournament punishes you like a bad tackle. Doué on the ball now, head up, looking to spark it. This is where they can suddenly hit the accelerator. He's got the space, sets it onto the left, and it stays straight as a ruler when it needed a painter's curve. Still, that's a pulse from France. One more like that, and the keeper's going to start hearing footsteps. IMO, Senegal are playing like a hungry underdog trying to break a knockout curse. Feels like a high-risk, high-reward trade. Give us your market read. Do you back the momentum or expect a correction?
I love the momentum story, Leo, but with bids that thin, it's a fragile rally. More sprint than marathon. Underdogs can rip on adrenaline, yet one stalled attack is like a failed breakout and you snap back to the mean fast. Absolutely, that's the classic post-earnings miss setup. Sentiments bruised, but expectations reset, and any good sequence gets rewarded fast. Pressure moments are where weak hands fold. Resilient teams trade like quality names. They absorb the hit and keep...
That England defeat still stings. You can feel it in every tackle. Senegal are playing like a team that's done being a footnote. One goal on debut and suddenly belief is flooding through them. This knockout stage is a different beast now. Oh, that's the cruelest kind of exit. Football decided by a referee's notebook, not a ball in the net, and now Koulibaly steps in like a bouncer at closing time, snapping into the challenge and setting the tone. Senegal aren't here to be unlucky again. IMO, Senegal once got knocked out on fair play yellow cards. Brutal margins. Give us your market volatility take. How do teams manage risk when one rash tackle can crash the whole campaign?
That's pure tail risk, Leo. One silly yellow is like a rogue headline candle that wipes a week of gains. The smart teams hedge by staying disciplined. No cheap fouls, no emotional trades, keep shape and let the odds work. Now we've got real money stepping in on the bid. France and the draw both deepen materially, so the downside air pocket is less scary. But the ask side is still a skyscraper, so rallies are going to feel like trying to score against a parked bus. Progress, then resist.
Pritigan sniffs the danger early, but White just times that challenge to perfection, and suddenly it's a jailbreak the other way. That's the kind of savvy you don't coach. Years of caps, years of scars, and he's still got the engine.
We just saw a little risk-off wobble. France slips a cent and bid depth thins across the board, so liquidity's backing away. When the book gets lighter like this, it's like a defense stepping up. One mistimed touch and you're suddenly offside with a nasty gap.
Dembélé out on the right is the one little spark. He's stretching them, and Senegal are having to slide across in a hurry, but only one shot in the whole first half. That's a match playing with the handbrake on. Dembélé staying wide is finally pulling Senegal out of shape. There's a wobble there every time he gets it and drives, but one shot in the first half, that's like turning up to a fireworks show with one matchstick. IMO, Mbappe only 14 touches in that first half, like a blue chip stock barely trading. What's your take on a superstar illiquid start and then a second half surge, market correction vibes?
Exactly. When the stars quiet early, it's like a mega cap pinned by low volume. Price doesn't move, but tension builds. Then one catalyst run and everyone scrambles to reprice at once, a mini correction in real time.
Mbappe with barely a sniff of the box in that first half. 14 touches is pocket change for a player of his stock. Senegal had him on lockdown. And you've got to say it as it is. They were flat early, but this second half start has bite, like someone finally hit the turbo.
Draw just ticked up a cent and the bid's getting fatter. Markets quietly hedging the stuck at 0-0 script. France, though, is leaking a cent even as bid depth rises, which screams two-way tug of war. Buyers stepping in, sellers still controlling. We're seeing the air come out of the sell side a bit. Ask depth just thinned hard across France and the draw, which usually means less resistance if buyers press. Price hasn't jumped yet, but this is that defense stepping up moment where one clean chance can move the whole. Draw is getting a little more love. Bid, ask both stepped up a cent. Classic 0-0 is sticky positioning as the clock bleeds. France is still pinned at 46-47 with heavy offers overhead, so bulls need a real catalyst, not just possession. Senegal. Absolutely. One last-ditch tackle is your volatility trigger, like a surprise headline that blows out spreads and forces everyone to reprice risk instantly. In these end-to-end phases, value flips possession by possession, and the market chases momentum like a... Nailed it. This is a blue chip printing record earnings, but trading down on CEO might leave chatter. Sentiment beats fundamentals in the short run. Booing is the crowd marking to mood, not marking to goals, and it can tighten the player's risk-taking. France is still stuck in that 47 spread, but the bid depth is building. Buyers are showing up even if they're not lifting offers yet. Meanwhile, the draw keeps getting better supported, like the market hedging for extra time as the clock becomes the main catalyst. Exactly. He's a blue chip with monster earnings, but the stock sells off on commitment risk headlines and fan base sentiment becomes the multiple. In that mood, every missed touch gets treated like an earnings miss, even if the season's numbers scream quality. Now you're seeing a classic rotation. France ticks down to 46-47 while the draw firms up to 37-38, so money's bracing for stalemate rather than a clean finish. Depth is still massively on the ask side, meaning sellers are camped out like a team protecting A00. One big...
France are turning the screw now, and Mendy snaffles that up like it's magnetized, saving Mané's blushes big time. You could see the moment Elise shaped to hit it, the whole defense froze, and Mendy just stayed ice cold.
Draw is creeping higher again, and Senegal's probability actually dips. This is the market saying stalemate, but not an upset. France holding for 6-47 with heavy offers overhead feels like a favorite pinned in its own half. Control, not conversion.
Imo, Mendy shutting down angles like a risk manager, France piling on pressure. You mentioned Mbappe's 40-goal seasons without a major trophy. Is that like a blue chip stock with no dividends, all growth, no payoff?
We're basically frozen. France stuck at 46-47 and the draw parked 37-38, so the market's pricing pressure without payoff. Bid depth on France just softened while draw bids firmed. That's traders hedging like fans bracing for extra time. Totally, this is a risk on rotation. Once the press starts winning balls, the market reprices probability like a breakout stock clearing resistance. But it's also leverage. Miss one tackle and you're exposed to the counter, so volatility spikes with every turnover.
That's the difference, isn't it? France smelling blood with that higher press, snapping into tackles and forcing those sloppy touches. Two big looks already, and if they keep squeezing like this, something's going to crack.
France just leaked a point, down to 45-46, while the draw holds 7-38. So the market's basically saying, pressure's nice, show me the goal. France bid depth jumped, but Senegal bids collapsed, which screams one-way traffic without belief in the counter. It's like a team dominating possession. With the book feed down, I'm watching the tape. The big money is still a tug of war on France. One whale paid up at Roy 6-6, while another's leaning hard bearish around Roy 4. That's classic two-sided conviction, like a match where...
Yeah, the pass and the run just didn't shake hands there. Elise was ready, but the script changed mid-scene. And you're right, this group's got that knife edge feel. One moment of clarity and the whole table flips. He's getting into those delicious pockets, but that final touch has just been a fraction heavy, like overhitting a perfect putt. Still, he's a constant headache for France, popping up in dangerous areas and forcing them to defend facing their own goal. Player of the match votes up. Get your phones out because this one's a proper debate. For me, it's about who's owned the big moments, the one who's kept the back line honest or the one who's put out the fires under pressure. Huge moment. Kamala coughs it up. Mbappe clean through and the keeper makes a massive save. Give me a quick market crash then bailout analogy for that turnover and stop. IMO, France are turning up the heat. Mbappe denied again by a massive save. Momentum swinging hard. Give us your market read. Is this pressure about to break the resistance, or are we heading for a shock result?
Yeah, this is heavy buy pressure, but the tape's still capped. Every save is sellers defending a key resistance level. If France don't convert soon, you get that nasty late game mean reversion where one Senegal counter is a surprise earnings miss.
Mbappe denied again. Mendy standing tall like a blue chip stock in a crash. France have flipped the momentum hard. Feels like pressure building to a breakout. What's your take on this swing?
Totally. Mendy's trading like a defensive utility while France is the high beta name getting rejected at the highs. Momentum's real, but until the goal hits, it's just volume without follow through, and that's when late volatility bites. France is getting marked up, 47% now, and the spread's still tight, while Senegal's bid side is thinning, which screams no dip buyers. But the real tell is the massive ask walls across all outcomes. That's supply waiting to fade any breakout, like a defense sitting. Now France pops back to 50%, but notice the bid depth across the board just evaporated. This move looks more like thin liquidity drift than real conviction. When the book gets this shallow, one big tackle, one chance either way can gap the price fast.
He's tried to thread the needle there, but it's sprayed. Too much on it and the move fizzles out. France will be annoyed because the momentum was roaring and Senegal will take that little breather like water in the desert. IMO, we've got a VAR check for a potential penalty. France furious. Deschamps in the fourth official's ear. Give me your market reaction take. How do nerves swing when a big decision goes to review?
Oh, this is a full-on volatility halt. Everyone freezes, spreads widen, and the next print is a gap, not a grind. If VAR points to the spot, France rips like a short squeeze. If it's waved off, you'll see a sharp mean reversion snap back.
VAR drama, possible penalty overturn vibes. Give us your market reaction take, volatility, sentiment swing, and what a decision like this does to momentum.
Yep, that's the rug pull risk. Markets front run the whistle, then VAR can erase the whole candle in one frame. Momentum flips from attack to hesitation, like a striker second-guessing the run after an offside flag.
For drama, France screaming for a pen after Mbappe goes down, ref waves it off, and Deschamps is fuming. Give us your market reaction take. Does this swing momentum like a sudden earnings miss?
Absolutely. This is the earnings miss candle. Instant de-risking, draw odds, catch a bid, and France backers stop chasing. Psychologically, it's a momentum breaker too, like conceding right after you thought you'd scored.
VAR drama, France screaming for a pen. Deschamps furious, but replay suggests Mbappe may have gone down early. Give us your take on how pressure moments like this swing momentum like a market spike.
France rips back to 61% and the draw dumps to 27%. That's the market saying pressure's back on after the VR noise. But look at that lopsided depth. Tons of offers overhead, so upside can stall fast if buyers run out of breath.
He's gone down like he's been clipped by a passing breeze, and VAR's basically saying, nice try, Kylian. Credit to the ref, ice in the veins, because in real time that screams penalty, but the replay just doesn't back it up.
Totally a trading halt. Everyone's frozen because the next whistle reprices the whole match in one tick. Refs are basically the market makers here, discounting theatrics and only paying out on real contact, so uncertainty spikes and spreads widen.
Still check on the screen and you can feel the nerves. Everyone's frozen like statues waiting for the verdict. If there's no clear clip, you can't hand out a World Cup penalty like a free sample, and Mbappe's protests won't change that.
France is now priced like the heavy favorite, 69-70%, and you can feel the risk-on stampede after that scare. But the big money is still split, with a monster bear ticket sitting down at 0.34, so this is one bad turnover away from a nasty pullback.
VAR drama, long delay, ref finally heading to the monitor for a possible penalty. Debate is clear and obvious versus soft contact. Got any quick take on decision-making under pressure, like markets reacting to uncertainty?
I'm with you. Once the ref hits the monitor, the market starts leaning decision incoming, like a stock reopening after a halt with imbalance. It's not automatic, but the crowd psychology front runs it, and you get that one-way momentum into the call.
VAR drama. Looks like a soft pen might be given after a long check. Give us your take on how review risk changes behavior, like markets reacting to uncertainty.
Exactly. Review risk makes everyone play not to lose. Like traders widening spreads and cutting size ahead of a binary headline. Defenders get hesitant, attackers exaggerate contact, and the whole flow turns choppy because nobody wants to be the one that caused.
VAR's waved it away, no penalty after the on-field review. Feels like a big market correction moment. Hype built, then the decision pulls the rug. Give us your take on how these stoppages kill momentum.
Totally. Stoppages are like a trading halt. Adrenaline drains, rhythm breaks, and the next few minutes trade sloppy. When the call flips back, you get a fast, mean reversion pop, but confidence is bruised on both sides. Yeah, that's like a Fed meeting where everyone priced a cut, headlines screamed pivot, and then they hold steady. No change, just a lot of shaken out positions. The noise was the trade, the decision is the reset back to fundamentals. Now you're seeing the no pen reset in the tape. France still leads, but the draws crept up to 40% and liquidity stacked on the ask side like sellers controlling the tempo. This is a cagey midfield game. Nobody wants to overcommit, so prices grind, not sprint. Exactly. VAR shouldn't be a circuit breaker for every little tick. If you overturn everything, you kill flow and players start trading the whistle. This kind of restraint is like letting price discovery work unless there's a clear, obvious error. Market's basically unchanged, but leaning a hair toward France and the draw. France at 46%, draw 41%, while Senegal stays stuck at 15%. The big tell is that massive ask depth across all outcomes. Plenty of supply.
IMO, VAR just backed off a potential penalty. Ref sticks with his call. Rare is a blue chip bargain. Give us your take. Is this like ignoring noisy market signals and trusting the fundamentals?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Sometimes the headline looks scary, but the underlying play doesn't justify repricing the whole match. It's like fundamentals holding while the tape screams. You don't chase every rumor, you wait for the clear break. France just ticked down a notch to 45% with the draw still glued at 41%. That's the market saying, we're not paying up for the favorite right now. And look at that towering ask depth, especially on France and Senegal. Sellers are stacked like a parked bus, so upside moves are getting...
It's a double lifeline, isn't it? Mendy bailing them out at one end and VAR blinking at the other, but you can't keep cashing in miracles, keep inviting pressure like this, and eventually the bill comes due. Still no breakthrough, and that little mix-up with Mané just kills the rhythm. One of those moments where the pass has an idea and the runner has another. You can feel the crowd groan because that was a doorway and they've slammed it shut themselves.
France is leaking, down to 44%, and the bid slipped top 0.43, while the draw stays firm at slide 41 0.42. What jumps out is liquidity drying up on the buy side for France. That's like a favorite losing midfield control. Any shock has...
Yeah, from the ref's angle, you can see why he's not biting. Sometimes it's not what the slow-mo wants, it's what the eyes catch in real time. He's been around the block at this level, and he's backing his instincts under massive heat. Absolutely, he's not refereeing the replay, he's refereeing the moment, and that takes nerve. You can sense the temperature rising in this stadium now. One more flashpoint and it could boil over in a heartbeat.
Draw is creeping higher, now 42% with a 0.42, 0.43 market, so traders are leaning into stalemate risk. France is stuck at 44%, but look at that near 1M ask depth. It's a ceiling, like Senegal sitting deep and daring France to break them down. Now, France and the draw are basically level on the... That's absolutely blue chip behavior, Leo. When the game tightens, the premium name delivers and the market reprices instantly. Clutch is basically implied volatility meeting real earnings. You pay up for consistency, and the laggards get derated on the spot. Absolutely, Leo. Elite keepers and elite investors both win by not flinching at the first fake move. When the crowd's sprinting one way, patience is just good positioning. You wait for the high percentage shot, not the highlight reel.
And that's the key. He doesn't overcommit, he just shepherds it and kills the angle so it can't trickle in. That's a keeper saving you with brains as much as gloves, absolute composure under a Mbappe storm.
France just retook the edge on price, 0.44, Euro 8.45, while Senegal's odds got clipped to 12%, so the upset money is getting benched. But the draw is still sitting at 44%, so this feels like France pressure without the finishing touch. Lots of possession, not... That goal just blew the spreads wide open. France is marked up to 79%, 8079, 0.80, and the draw collapses to the mid-teens. Senegal's down at 4.5% with basically no bid depth, so any comeback narrative is pure lottery ticket now. France is getting marked up again, now 84% at 0.83, 0.84, so the crowd's chasing the winner like a late-game frontrunner. Absolutely, that's the market printing a new high on heavy volume. Confidence premium jumps and shorts scramble to cover. Once a star scores twice, the crowd starts pricing inevitability, like a blue chip breaking out after earnings.
That's the spark they were missing. France have come out flying, and Mbappe suddenly got that Predator's timing back in his legs. Elise slides it in, and the run is razor sharp like he's reading tomorrow's newspaper today.
We're seeing a little mean reversion. France ticks down to 82%, but the big story is liquidity. Bids have thickened a lot, yet the sell wall is...
Oh, hearts and mouths. Senegal thought they'd rip the roof off, Jackson wheeling away. And then that dreaded flag slices the party in half. France breathe again, but that warning shot is loud as thunder. Mbappe bags another 13th World Cup goal. France 1-0, and it feels deserved after that second half surge. Give me a quick market reaction angle. Momentum shift, confidence premium, anything like that. IMO, Mbappe's just hit his 13th World Cup goal. France 1-0 up, and it's deserved. Give us a quick market reaction take. Momentum shift like a breakout stock or still volatile?
Nailed it. This is your blue chip printing an all-time high, and the celebration is basically the CEO ringing the bell on the exchange. It boosts the brand premium, but it also tempts profit takers to fade the pop if the game stays tight.
He's got the chaos all around him and still remembers the flute. Ice in the veins, showman in the soul, equaling Giroud at 57 in that kind of moment is outrageous. And there it is, France in front. That celebration's gone viral before the replays even finish. They've barely finished the little routine and Mbappe's already ripped the script up. What a punch to the jaw. France led, and you can feel the tempo spike like someone's turned the stadium volume knob to max. Yeah, the finish is pure gold, but the timing's a fraction late. Offside is offside, no matter how pretty the strike looks. And that flute shout-out. James Horton's influence is rising faster than a hot stock. Amo would love that. Whoa, we've switched from World Cup drama to full-throttle Jeep ad break. Talk about a counterattack from the sponsors. Amo, that's the kind of marketing spend that screams bullish, but I'm itching to get back to the pitch.
We're stuck in a tight range. France pinned 8 Sally 80.81 with a big sell wall around 0.84, so upside's capped unless something on the pitch breaks. Draw liquidity is creeping up on the bid. That's the crowd buying late drama insurance while the favorite tries to see it out.
We just got hit with a Jeep Wells Fargo ad break midstream. Give us the market angle on that kind of sponsorship spend and consumer credit push.
Yeah, that's the risk-on combo platter. Automakers selling big-ticket confidence while a bank sells you the monthly payment. When those ads get louder, it often signals they're fighting for demand. Great for volume, but it can hint margins and credit quality are the real match.
IMO, we just got hit with a Jeep Wells Fargo ad and a use active cash line. Give us the quick market angle. Ad spend, auto demand, and credit card promos. What's it telling you?
Totally. Jeep plus active cash is like a team pressing high. They want conversions now, not later. It usually screams competitive demand in autos and banks leaning on promo-driven spend, which is fine in a strong economy, but gets dicey if delinquent.
IMO, we've been hijacked by ads, Jeep promos, and Wells Fargo active cash 2% rewards talk. Give us the market angle. Does this kind of spend and credit card push signal consumer strength or desperation?
Yep. When you see big auto promos paired with a 2% cashback pitch, it's a keep the crowd loud strategy. Demand's there, but it needs incentives. That leans more competitive pressure than pure strength, and it puts the spotlight on credit performance next. France ticks down a hair to 80%, but the real story is positioning. Bids are still stacked, yet that 0.84 sell wall is getting thicker. Markets saying, win, sure, but don't get cute. Draw bids keep building too, like fans leaning forward waiting for stoppage.
IMO, we just got hit with a blitz.
I'm with you. This looks more breakout than hot streak because the fundamentals are there. Pace, finishing, and a system built to feed him. Still, when everyone crowds the trade, one quiet match can feel like a sharp pullback.
IMO, that's a full-on ad read with a samba beat, 2% cash back like a winger hugging the touchline all night, and welcome to my house feels like the stadium gates flung open. Everybody in, no VAR check, just vibes and goals. That chance got terrace energy. I got it, I want it, like a striker sniffing a rebound in the 6-yard box, and he likes my hair? That's pure showboating after a nutmeg, Amo. Confidence dripping like a last-minute winner. IMO, Mbappe climbing the all-time World Cup scoring list is like a blue-chip stock hitting new highs. Momentum traders are loving it. Give us the market analogy. Is this a breakout or just a hot streak?
France has cooled a touch, down to 80%, and the bid slipped to 0.80, so that's a little profit-taking after the run. But there's still real support stacked 0.79, while the big 0.84 sell wall keeps this feeling like a grinded-out.
Mbappe, again, of course it's him, like a blue chip stock that just won't stop climbing. Joint on 13 with the legends, and you can feel Senegal thinking, not this guy again, while France purrs like a well-oiled machine. Mbappe nudging past Pele on that all-time ladder. Listen, that's not a step, that's a leap. Messi level on 13, and the names above him are the kind that make defenders wake up sweating. Muller, Ronaldo. The mountain gets steeper from here.
France ticks back down to 0.80, 0.81. Still the favorite, but you can feel sellers leaning on it with that heavier ask depth. Draw liquidity perked up on the bid, so the market's hedging like a team protecting a lead. Less flair, more risk management.
Mbappe's basically a blue chip compounding in real time. France shifting gears, Senegal giving him too much space. Any quick market analogy for a team trying to create enough when they're down and under pressure?
France's price is steady around Wega 0.81, but wow, the bid depth collapsed to basically nothing, so this is a thin market wearing a heavyweight jersey. That's when one headline play can gap the odds like a breakaway goal.
This is France with the volume turned up. Elise pulling strings, and Mbappe lurking like a shark that smelled blood. Senegal have to find a punch from somewhere, because if they keep gifting chances, that lead's gonna grow teeth.
France stays pinned 80.80 and 81, but the buy side is still skinny. 44K of bid depth versus a big heavy sell stack overhead. That's a classic one bad touch and you're in trouble setup. Odds look calm, but the footing is slippery.
IMO, France unbeaten in 26 World Cup matches when scoring first. Talk about a blue chip lead. Give us your market style take. Is this the safest asset in football, or can Senegal trigger a crash? Yeah, that's the last time the script flipped, and it took a special Poland to do it. Senegal are staring up a cliff face now, and unless they find a moment of magic fast, France will just manage this like seasoned pros. Absolutely, when you're digging up 1982 to find the last crack in the armor, you know how steep this is. Senegal have to stop admiring the mountain and start climbing it. One big chance, one clean finish, and suddenly the air changes.
Now we've got real support showing up under France. Bid depth jumps to about 180K, while price holds 0.81. That's buyers stepping in to defend the lead. Draw nudges up to 0.17, 0.18.
That one's launched into the night, and it's gift wrapped for Loris. France will take those all day. And the Knicks in town, well, Senegal need a bit of Madison Square Garden chaos right now, because this is getting too comfortable for Les Bleus.
Big shift. Draw just got smacked down to 0.15 to 0.16, and bid depth evaporated to 5 grand. Nobody wants to stand in front of that shot. France ticks up 2.
Here we go, fresh legs up top. So they're rolling the dice, out goes the star, and on comes Ibrahim with the 18-year-old buy thrown straight into the fire. That's a big ask, but youth can be electric when the game's crying out for a jolt. Mendy to the rescue again. France are turning the screw, and it's starting to feel like wave after wave. That little nick on the shot is pure poison for a keeper, and Senegal are hanging on by their fingertips here.
France is getting even more respect, 82% implied, and the bid depth back up near 184K, so buyers are leaning into the favorite like it's late in the fourth with a 2-score lead. Senegal's bid depth collapsing under a grand is the tell. Nobody's catching that fall.
Sunderland's backline looked like it had a loose brick there. One wobble and the whole wall shakes. And Jackson, credit to him, he's been everywhere tonight. Sharp, busy, and making the hard yards look easy.
France stays pinned at 8-1-1, 8-2, but the real story is the draw book thickening again, nearly 38K on bids, so the market's bracing for time decay to matter. Senegal's still a ghost town on the bid side, meaning any comeback narrative has zero sponsorship right now.
They're banking on that breakout moment, and you can feel the crowd leaning in. Go on then, show us. Debut against Brazil is no small badge, and now Kamara's snapping into challenges as the tempo cranks up again. Ah, those little white lines are the lifelines, each one a chance to change the story before the final whistle. You can almost see managers counting them like poker chips, wondering when to shove all in. Those little white ticks under the score are basically the manager's remaining bullets, how many subs they've still got in the chamber. When they start disappearing, you know the bench...
Totally. Waiting that long is like refusing to rebalance while the VIX is spiking. You're betting your starters don't cramp at the worst moment. Fresh legs for Senegal is the classic late momentum swing, and that's when the draw price can suddenly start playing.
Ball.
Yep. This is like running a full risk book into the close and hoping nothing headlines you. Late subs are your stop loss and your catalyst trade. Either protect the lead or spark the winner before the draw theta eats you alive. That Senegal ask just tightened to 0.02, but don't get fooled, it's still basically air on the bid side, so any buying is like a hopeful punt up field with nobody chasing. France liquidity firms back up near 251k on bids, and the draw head.
France still haven't used a single sub at 77. That's like sitting on cash in a volatile market. Any take on the risk of holding back while the opposition injects fresh pace to chase Mbappe? France still haven't used subs at 77. Feels like a manager holding cash while the market's moving. Got a quick analogy on risk management late moves? 80,000 plus in here, and you can feel the air crackling. Every touch is getting a roar. And with Mbappe on the hunt, a bit of pace won't cut it. You need a motorbike to stay with him.
France just ticked up a notch to 0.82083, but notice the bid depth actually thinned. This is price strength without muscle, more vibes than volume. Draw bids are creeping back toward 30k, so late game nerves are still being quietly hedged. Senegal's still a 2-cent mark.
In and out, in and out. This is pinball football now with a quarter hour to go. He got caught on the turn, but fair play. He snaps back in and wins it again. Proper last-ditch energy surging through the pitch.
Now we've got a clean momentum push. France up to 84% with the spread stepping higher and bid depth rebuilding over 200k. Buyers are pressing like it's stoppage time. The draw ticks down to 14% even as bids hold near 30k, so hedgers are still. Exactly. When a superstar keeps taking weird hits, the market starts pricing him like a quality name with headline risk, so you demand a little extra yield before you buy the hype. It's like a striker with great XG but no finish. Talent's there, but confidence. Yeah, that's key man risk and cleats. Every knock widens the spread on France because the whole thesis runs through one name. The hedge is tactical diversification. Share the chance creation, manage minutes, and keep a fresh outlet so one shock doesn't crash the.
Rabiot rises like a skyscraper, and that ball's dropping into chaos. Defenders swinging boots, attackers sniffing blood. France may not have dazzled, but in moments like this, it doesn't matter. It's pure survival in the 6-yard box. Barcola's on. Here we go. Fresh legs and pure jet fuel down that flank. He can be a bit wild with the final ball, sure, but with that pace, he only needs one clean moment to light this place up. Mbappe, the youngster? Not anymore. He's the headline act, and nights like this are his natural habitat. But for a kid thrown in against France, that's a baptism of fire, all right. Pressure squeezing like a vice. One touch, and you're either a hero or a footnote.
Draw money is getting a little braver. Bid depth pushing up near 31k even while the price sits or 0.15. That's classic insurance buying as the clock ticks. France stays 0.83, 0.84, but the bid depth keeps leaking.
That's the tightrope, isn't it? Chase the dream, but don't get your goal difference smashed to bits. And Jackson's in again. Lovely ball slipped through. Oof, that's a chance that makes defenders' knees knock. Goal difference talk feels like risk management. How do you frame that like portfolio protection when a team decides whether to chase a point or avoid a heavy loss?
France just ticked down to 0.82.83, but the bid depth actually jumped. Buyers are stepping in on the dip like they're defending a 1-goal lead. The draw book softened on the bid side, so that late equalizer insurance is getting trimmed. Senegal still can't attract real money.
France just got carved open. Jackson misses a massive chance after a gorgeous cross. Feels like a market wobble moment. One more like that and the favorite's price could dip fast. What do you make of the momentum swing?
France is still pinned 80.83.84, but the bid depth just slipped. Support's thinning a bit like a backline starting to drop deeper. Draw liquidity is getting heavier on the sell side, so traders aren't paying up for chaos yet. It's cautious, not panicked.
Saliba's been one of the few steady heads, but France look like they've left the handbrake on out there. If they nick it playing like this, it's a smash and grab in a tuxedo. Efficient, but not exactly pretty. Oh, you can feel it when the big names wake up, the whole pitch tilts. One touch, one burst, and suddenly it's not a game anymore. It's a statement. Who's grabbing the spotlight next?
There's your momentum swing back. France ticks up to 0.85 and bid depth rebounds near 189k, like the favorite just won a big midfield duel and reset control. Draw stays parked at 14%, so the market's basically saying pressure absorbed, back to script.
Ooh, that one's left a mark. He's taking a moment because the body's just sent the warning signal, but if it's Mane, you know...
Absolutely. Killer first touch is like a breakout candle. No chop, just straight through resistance and short scrambling to cover. Once that liquidity wall gets taken out, price gaps higher fast, and everyone suddenly always liked the trade. That's a full-on repricing. France rockets to 3.97, 0.98, and the draw gets crushed to 2.3 cents, like a red card moment where the match odds basically end. Only catch, France bid depth is lighter now, so if anything weird happens, the snapback could be violent.
Senegal keeping the ball like it's glued to their boots now, just calming the storm and picking their moment. You can sense they're trying to lure the press, then snap forward in a heartbeat. That 2-0 felt like a blue chip move. Rabiot spots the gap, instant impact sub, bang. Give me a quick market momentum analogy for a killer first touch goal.
France stays priced like it's game over 8, 0.97, 0.98, but notice the bid depth just doubled to 115K. Buyers are actually stepping in to defend the lead now. Draw and Senegal are basically dead money, and that's the crowd heading for the exits before the final whistle.
That second goal feels like a late market breakout. France find the space, one touch and bang, 2-0. Give us your closing bell take. Is this game now locked like a position after a decisive move?
Yeah, that's the closing bell vibe. Once you're trading 97, 98 cents, the market's basically marking it settled unless a freak headline hits. It's like parking the bus with the ball. Low drama, but any slip is a nasty gap risk.
That second goal feels like a...
Yeah, the tape's basically stamped France wins at 97, 98 cents, so most of the move is done. But volatility isn't dead. One sloppy turnover or a penalty is the equivalent of a surprise earnings miss, and that spread can widen fast. Totally. This is risk off rotation into the safe asset favorite, and you can see it with France pinned at 97, 98 cents. The cashing in is early longs taking profit into that heavy ask, while late buyers are basically paying for certainty.
France go 2-0 up with a cheeky little finish. Feels like the market just priced in the result. Give us your closing bell take. Is this game basically over, or is there still volatility left? France have flicked the switch after the break. One burst through the middle and it's curtains. That space between the Senegal center backs is screaming, "Punish me." Mendy got close, but not close enough, and the finish is all velvet. Imo, that dink is pure blue chip composure. 2-0 and the risk-reward swing is massive. Give us the market analogy. When do you lock profits like France just did?
Exactly. France just took profit at the highs. Once you've broken resistance and the crowd flips from doubt to certainty, you tighten the stop and bank some. It's championship clock management. Protect the lead. Don't get cute with extra risk.
Oh, that's ice cold. A cheeky little dink that just floats over the keeper like a love letter. Deschamps can finally unclench. The French end is bouncing, and you can feel the air go out of Senegal in one heartbeat.
France has basically gone limit up. 0.98, 0.99 with bid depth now swamping the offers. That's the market piling in like stoppage time wasting. Draw and Senegal are pure air pockets, and anyone still holding those is praying for a red card miracle.
Imo, they're saying Barkley might be on his way out of PSG. Give us the market angle. Does that kind of transfer chatter move the needle for a club's finances or brand value mid-tournament?
Fair point. If it's after a big tournament moment, that's classic sell high, monetized peak hype before the next dip. But if it's driven by noise or dressing room friction, it's a panic trade that can leave value on the table. Absolutely. Bench depth is diversification with real optionality. When legs go heavy, you rotate into fresh assets without changing the game plan. Late stages reward teams that can absorb shocks, injuries, cards, momentum swings. Now it's a full-on knockout. France is bid at 0.99 with literally no asks showing. Price discovery is basically over and shorts are trapped in the tunnel. Draw has no bid at all. Senegal's bid is dust, so liquidity's vanished everywhere except the winner. France is still locked 8099 bid with 0 offers. This is stoppage time with the ball in the corner. Nobody's selling. What's interesting is Draw and Senegal are just massive 0.99 offer walls with no real bids, so anyone trying to buy the miracle is...
You're dead right. If they're sleepwalking, you call it, because this team's got champagne football in the fridge. And when they finally pop the cork, the whole stadium feels it. This is what we pay for. This is the game at its best. Oh, you can feel the shift. France have grabbed the steering wheel and Senegal are suddenly hanging on for dear life. Bartola's dancing past his man, Mbappe sniffing that killer pass. This is where it turns into a flood if Senegal don't slam the door right now.
France bid depth keeps bleeding from through.
Here comes Cherky, pure street foot. Cherky's on and you can feel the temperature rise. This kid plays like the ball's got a magnet in his boots. If he's been nudging Foden aside at City, that's a warning siren for Senegal right now. Imo, Norway's back in the World Cup. Holland on the global stage again. From your angle, what does that do for Man City's spotlight and the Holland brand value heading into tournament season?
Yeah, that's a brand catalyst. World Cup exposure is like a surprise earnings beat for a superstar's marketing value. It keeps Man City in the global conversation even off pitch, and Holland's top of funnel explodes heading into tournament season.
You're bang on. Against France, you get one golden ticket, and if you don't cash it, the interest rate is brutal. And Norway back at the World Cup with Holland, that's like adding a cheat code to the tournament. Defenders will be checking under the bed at night. Oh, it's a football buffet, isn't it? Holland, Messi, Ronaldo, Kane still waiting in the tunnel like heavyweight fighters. If this tournament's already been this tasty, the main course is gonna blow the roof off.
Draw just got even uglier. Best ask drops to €20 with a mountain of offers. Basically the market saying no stoppage time drama please. France is still glued to 0.99 with hefty bid depth, while Senegal's sitting at 0.0 like a relegated side.
He's gliding on it now. Head up, little feints like he's playing chess while everyone else is playing tag. 12 assists tells you he's not just a dribbler, he's a locksmith, and you can feel the defense backing off a yard.
That's the tell. Profit takers are finally cashing France 80.99, Bruce Wayne 77, dumping size. Yet the bid stack barely flinches, so the crowd's still leaning heavy favorite. Draw has a token sorry 0-0 bid like a lone fan in the away end.
You're seeing it right there. He's got that ghosting movement, always arriving where the danger lives, and the ball just obeys him. It's the kind of performance that makes you nut. Yang's come on with that fresh legs chaos, buzzing, snapping into spaces, trying to turn it into a street fight in the final third. But France's backline are reading those runs now, holding their nerve, squeezing the gaps. Imo, they're saying this lease has been the best on the pitch, even with Mbappe around. Give me your market value take. Is this a breakout stock moment or just one hot quarter?
I buy the take. This feels like a breakout candle, but the market won't re-rate her on one match alone. If she strings a few performances together, that's when sponsors and clubs start bidding like it's a transfer window auction.
Senegal are flicking that switch now. Late urgency, bodies flying forward, and you can feel the tempo spike. But this is the danger time too. One loose pass and it's curtains on the counter. This one's heading for a France result unless there's a last gasp twist. Got any late market rally analogy for Senegal's desperation push?
Totally. Senegal's like a beaten down small cap trying a last minute short squeeze into the close. Lots of effort, but no liquidity and nobody paying up. Without a real catalyst, that desperation push just burns clock and spreads. France just got prices like the trophy's already on the bus. Win prob ticks to 100%, and the market finally shows a real 1.0 ask, so sellers are lining up for that last cent. Bid depth swelling near 594K says buyers still want the
Bamba Yang's darting around like he's got a motor in his boots trying to nick a moment out of nowhere, but the French defenders are matching the timing step for step. No panic, just that cold, calculated positioning. Imo, France are slicing teams open today. Pass, run, finish all top drawer. Give me a market analogy. Are they the blue chip stock everyone fears, or is there a bubble waiting to pop under pressure?
Yeah, this is blue chip behavior, steady cash flow football, not meme stock chaos. But when the price is already 80999 any slip is a nasty gap down. So the bubble risk is really just overconfidence at the top. We've basically hit full-time pricing. France is locked one bid, ask, so the market's saying game over. And you're just swapping pennies for headline risk. The only real action now is that 72K sitting at 1 EOGARS. Profit takers cashing out like...
France have been pure poetry today. Passes threaded like needles, runs time to the heartbeat, and finishes with ice in the veins. Defenders will be checking under the bed tonight for that front line. Wow. And honestly, who can blame them? That corner's fizzled out, and you can feel the air rush back into the defending lungs. No real bite on it. Now Shecky wants to spark something, but here's the trap. Chase the equalizer too hard, and you leave the back door wide open. Yeah, sometimes it's ugly maths, isn't it? Take the 2-goal hit, keep the goal difference from bleeding, and live to fight the next one. But the danger is you start playing not to lose, and the game slips through your fingers anyway.
Liquidity's evaporating everywhere except the France wins line. Draw bid depth is basically lunch money now, and Senegal has 0 bids, just a mountain of hopeless offers at 200 euro. France 8 euro is like a match already in the record books. You're not trading upside. You can see the closing bell vibe. France stays welded to 1.0, but bid depth keeps thinning, 183k now, so fewer players are bothering to chase a capped payout. Meanwhile, that 42k at 1 euro is basically the exit line for anyone taking the
8-minute stoppage time. This is like extra trading hours with your portfolio on the line. One more goal swings qualification like a late market move. Give us the risk management angle on protecting goal difference.
Nailed it. Stoppage time is the market's witching hour. Spreads widen and mistakes get punished. If you're France, you park the bus and hedge the tail risk. If you're Senegal, you go all in because your downside's already priced.
8 minutes, this is where tournaments turn into survival shows. Mane's got that spark again, and you can see the defenders retreating like the tide's coming in. One clean break here, and the whole stadium holds its breath. Oof, that little back heel with the soul. Pure street football, the kind that makes defenders' knees wobble. If he times the next touch right, it's a door left ajar in the box and someone's about to kick it off the hinges. That cheeky soul back heel again. He's playing with velvet on his boots, but in stoppage time, one trick too many can turn into a counter the other way, so you love the flair and fear the punishment. They're stretching it wide now, trying to pull the defense like taffy. Mbai's got space to whip something nasty, and you can feel the tempo rising. Every touch a little sharper, every run a little more desperate.
And just like that, the wobble's gone. France snaps back to 101 wow and bid depth jumps. So the crowd's treating this as effectively settled. Draw and Senegal are still ghost towns, all offers and no real demand. Classic capitulation.
Diatta's let them off there with a sloppy one, gift-wrapped and returned to sender. France are happy to slow cook it, and Eliseo's bought himself a foul. Not flashy, just clever, like a veteran cashing in a free kick. That pass from Diatta was a real momentum killer, and France are saying no rush, just keeping the lid on the pot. Eliseo's nicked a foul there. No theatrics, just a smart little win to reset and breathe.
Totally. When one player's creating that much, it's like a mega cap dragging the whole index. Everyone else trades off their gravity. Defenders start overhedging to his side, and that opens the small cap rally lanes for runners in behind.
2-0 flatters nobody here. This has been a proper storm, and he's been the lightning rod, sparking chance after chance. From the lower leagues to bossing a World Cup night, that's a rise like a rocket. France have been purring.
Draw just lost its bid entirely. No buyers, only a mountain of sellers. So that outcome's been priced off the pitch. France staying locked at 1-0 is the equivalent of seeing the keeper hold the ball in the corner. Game management, not drama. Yeah, that's pure blue chip protect the lead energy. Bale talking golf is like a winner rotating into bonds once the job's done. No need for hero ball, just manage the clock, take the easy pars, and don't invite volatility. You're seeing a little liquidity drain on the France side, bid depth down, yet price won't budge from 1 hours, which screams everyone agrees nobody wants to be the last seller. Draw and Senegal remain pure offer stacks, like fans already heading for the exits.
You're not bad.
Love that IPO pop comp. One goal is the first day spike, but the real tell is whether volume follows and the next 5 minutes stay in their favor. If the favorite starts panicking and spreads widen, that's when a comeback trend can actually stick.
Imo, he's asking for help. Sounds like why now? I can get anywhere. Can you riff on timing market entry vibes while I tie it back? Mbappe again, he just material. Absolutely, Imo. One mistake and the whole stadium reprices the match in real time. You see it instantly. Defenders stop trusting the keeper, passes get safer, and the other side. 3-1, and France have hit the accelerator like they've just remembered who they are. That's a statement response, cold, ruthless, and suddenly the other side looks like they're chasing shadows in a storm. Keeper's just had a nightmare, punches it into his own net after that youngster's strike. Talk about a sudden crash. Give us your market-style take on a momentum swing like that.
That's a full-on flash crash. Exactly. Once it's 3-1, France shifts into capital preservation mode. Slow the tempo, take high percentage passes, and let the clock do the compounding. Senegal's forced into leverage, and that's when you see desperate shots. Big upside, but usually ugly execution.
He just hoofs it into the night sky, no composure, just survival football now. That's panic in the boots, and it hands the initiative straight back to the opposition like a gift-wrapped counterattack. France at 3-1 feels like a market rebound after a wobble. Confidence floods back and the other side starts making rushed decisions. Give us your quick take on how leads change risk appetite. Oof. Manung's gonna see that in his sleep. He'll want it back, but that strike is nasty. The ball's dancing in the air, that little knuckle wobble, and it turns a routine save into a guessing game.
France is basically pinned 8.991 to euro, but look at that. Ask liquidity has evaporated to almost nothing, so any buyer can absolutely. Once the equalizer hits, it's a classic short squeeze. The doubters rush to cover, and that buying pressure becomes its own fuel. Confidence compounds fast, like a team winning every second ball. Suddenly, the price of belief goes limit up. Now it's a full lock. France is bid at 1 hour with no offers, so price discovery is basically finished and anyone late is paying championship premium. The other two outcomes are just one-sided sell books, like a team parking the bus and the crowd already...
IMO, that late French surge is pure momentum trading. One strike flips the whole market. Give us your take. When a team rallies like this, is it like a short squeeze where confidence snowballs and everyone piles in? Late drama, France explode, Mbappe with a thunderbolt, and suddenly it's a momentum swing like a market breakout. Give us your closing minutes volatility take.
That's closing auction chaos. Liquidity thins, spreads widen, and one Mbappe candle blows through every stop on the board. In the final minutes, everyone's trading emotion and time, not fundamentals, and the tape can gap in a heartbeat.
IMO, that late Mbappe thunderbolt is pure momentum, like a stock breaking out on huge volume. Give us the market analogy, when a team smells weakness and suddenly everything spikes.
Nailed it. Once the defense shows a crack, it's like a breakout through resistance and the algos all flip from sell rallies to buy everything. The spike feeds itself, panic on one side, FOMO on the other, and suddenly the game's trading at a... This is as final whistle as it gets. France is locked bid at 1 ha with 0 offers, so the market's treating it like a done deal. Meanwhile, Draw and Senegal are just stacked sell walls at pennies, no bids at all. Everyone's already in the tunnel.
That's the thing with the superstars. He can look human for 5 minutes, then bang, he reminds everyone why he's Mbappe. A couple of scruffy touches, then he strikes with that pure, ruthless quality like lightning finding the same spot twice.
That France bid wall just ballooned 1.2 million shares at 1 ha, so the crowd's basically piling onto the trophy lift with no one willing to sell. When the book looks this one-sided, the only risk is a freak VAR moment, otherwise it's pinned to settlement. France just turned into a full-on steamroller, 348 men of bid depth and 3.25 VEM shares sitting at 100. That's the market dogpiling the obvious result. Draw and Senegal are still basically dead money, all offers and no bids, like trying to mount a comeback with 10 men and no...
That let-it-play moment felt like a trader letting a position run. Huge payoff with Mbappe climbing the all-time charts. Jump in on the wouldn't bet against him angle and how momentum compounds.
This is as priced to perfection as it gets. France is locked at 1 ha with a massive bid stack, while Draw and Senegal are offered at 0 with nobody stepping in. At this point, it's like stoppage time up 3 goals. You're not trading skill, you're just waiting for the final whistle.
Turkey cough it up, and suddenly it's Mbappe again, prowling like a shark that smelled blood. This is danger with a capital D, and that referee letting it flow earlier, that's the kind of advantage that turns into a goal and a nation roaring.
Exactly. VAR is the market circuit breaker. It slows the tape, but it also injects headline risk right when everyone's leaning one way. One call flips momentum in the story, like a late penalty turning a comfy lead into full-blown panic. Nothing's changed on the tape. France is still pinned 8-100 dodge with over 3.3 M's of bids, basically a cash out line waiting for settlement. The other two outcomes are just a wall of sellers at 0, which tells you the crowd's already left the stadium.
He's got the tiniest touch on it, just enough fingertip to keep the whole stadium from exploding. That's pure goalkeeper's luck and skill in one breath. And listen, this is turning into a thriller. Every bounce feels like it's got a headline attached.
We're seeing even more dead outcome supply piling up. Draw and Senegal ask depth just ballooned toward $1 million each, but still 0 bids. France stays glued to 100 with the bid stack growing, a classic blowout where the only risk left is some freak administrative.
IMO France, top of Group A after that second half surge. Feels like a blue chip rally after a shaky open. Give us your market style take. Momentum trade or just one hot quarter?
Yeah, that's a blue chip that shook out the weak hands early, then ripped once the game state flipped. I'd call it momentum with fundamentals, depth, pace, finishing. So it's not just a one quarter wonder, but the valuation's rich now. This market's basically in post-match handshake mode. France bid depth just surged past 4.3M at 1 no offers in sight. Meanwhile, draw and Senegal are drowning in zero price asks, which is pure capitulation and cleanup, not price.
France looked like they were wading through treacle early doors, Thierry, but second half they tore the handbrake off and suddenly it's champagne football again. In that heat, you can drown in the tempo, but once they found rhythm, boom, Senegal couldn't live with it. IMO, France flipped the script with that second half tactical tweak. Fullbacks pinning Senegal back. Mbappe suddenly cashing in like a blue chip rally. Give us your market momentum take. What changed when pressure turned into profit?
Exactly. The first goal is the breakout, but the second is the killer candle that forces everyone to reprice in real time. After that, confidence turns into flow, and defenders start trading not to win, but to avoid getting embarrassed on the tape. We're still pinned at 1 on France, but notice the bid depth actually eased a bit, 4.61M, so some whales are cashing the trophy photo. Draw and Senegal keep stacking zero asks, which is basically the market's version of fans tossing the losing
You can feel it, can't you? France in first gear just purring and you're thinking they're not even trying yet. Then the switch flips after the break and suddenly the tempo jumps, the passes snap, and the opponent's legs start turning to jelly.
France stays welded to 100, but the bid depth keeps bleeding, now $4.55Ms. Classic, game's over, take profits behavior. Meanwhile, draw and Senegal are just a landfill of zero-priced asks, like late bettors.
IMO, they're calling it arrogance versus confidence. France just shifted gears and blew the game open. Give me your market take. Is this like a blue chip coasting, then ripping higher on earnings?
Totally. This is a blue chip that looked sleepy into the print, then drops a clean earnings beat and guidance raise, and the shorts get carried out. Confidence is when you control the tempo. Arrogance is when you stop defending. France did the former, and the market paid up. Not much new price action. France is still a hard winner, but the bid depth is dripping again to 454, so the late game trade is basically profit taking and position cleanup. The only liquidity on draw in Senegal is that mountain of zero asks, pure serenity. It matters a lot. Brand is the multiple on the earnings, and a superstar moment can re-rate sponsorship deals overnight. Clubs monetize attention like ad inventory, and Mbappe's basically printing impressions the way a hot IPO prints headlines. France is still pinned at 1, but you can see the victory lap in the tape. Bid depth keeps easing to 4.54 miss as holders cash out at the buzzer. Draw and Senegal remain dead money with nothing but zero price offers stacked like empty seats after.
Mbappe cooking up a new celebration like it's a product launch. AMO would call that brand equity skyrocketing. If he pulls it out against Senegal, you'll hear the whole stadium go, oh, before the replay even rolls.
Now you're seeing the post-goal sell the news vibe. France stays locked at 100, but bid depth just slid to 450M, meaning fewer buyers left because everyone already knows the result. The other two books are basically a graveyard of 0.0 offer.
Mbappe teasing a new goal celebration, pure brand building. Give us the market angle, star power, endorsements, and how a signature celebration can move the needle like a blue chip stock.
Absolutely. Signature moments are like a blue chip announcing a new product line. It widens the moat and lifts the sponsorship multiple. One celebration can turn into merch, ads, and social reach, and suddenly the club's revenue playbook looks a... France is still a clean sweep at 100, but that bid depth just dropped again to 4.33M. More holders heading for the exits because there's no upside left. Draw and Senegal are stuck with only 0.0 offers, like a match where the away fans left at half. France stays nailed to 100, but the bid depth keeps bleeding down to 424M, so liquidity's thinning as traders take the guaranteed payout and move on. Draw and Senegal are still just a wall of 0.0 asks, no buyers in sight. France is still pinned 8-100, but the bid depth is leaking to 4.17Ms. Classic end-of-match liquidity drain as everyone heads to the cashier window. Meanwhile, draw and Senegal 0.0 inventory keeps getting pulled, so even the hopeless side of the book is thinning out. Now that's a real flush. France bid, depth just fell off a cliff to 2.96 mullers while price stays stuck at one draw. So the market's basically saying game over, let's settle. When the book thins like this, any late headline is the only thing that can create drama. France depth slips again to 2.94 m. Same scoreline, fewer players on the pitch, so any decent-sized sell could make the tape look ugly even if the outcome's locked. The 0.0 books are still thinning too, which screams everyone's just closing tabs and heading home. France is still parked at 100, but the real story is the cleanup crew. Draw ask depth drops to 734k and Senegal to 763k, so the dead money is getting pulled fast. This is like the crowd leaving at 85 minutes. Outcome decided, liquidity evaporated. Huge late unwind. Latina dumps on 1.24 m. France at 100. Feels like stoppage time cash out with the outcome locked. Can you frame this like a team parking the bus / crowd rushing exits and what it says about momentum and psychology?
That's pure parking the bus psychology, Amo. Once the result feels safe, everyone starts hoofing it into row Z and sprinting for the exits. It screams momentum's flipped, not chasing upside anymore, just protecting the lead and avoiding a nasty counterpunch.
That Latina unwind is the headline, 1.24 m, dumped at 100, basically taking the trophy lap and cashing the ticket. France depth is still near 2.94 m, but with that kind of exit flow, you can feel the book getting hollow, like a stadium emptying before stoppage time. France bid depth actually rebounds to about 3.0 m, so despite that monster cash out, there's still a big crowd willing to stand at Wayne Drought and take the final whistle. Draw and Senegal are just dead weight 800. This is pure settlement traffic now, not a new view. Now you're seeing the weird post-game stat padding. France bid depth eases a touch under 3.0 m, while draw ask depth jumps to about 780k. More folks tossing 0 Sanduru offers just to clear inventory. It's not a comeback story. France bid depth just slipped hard to about 2.75 m from high 3.0 m, so more winners are heading for the exits, even with the price pinned at 1 Sudaro. Draw and Senegal remain a 0.00 graveyard, but that shrinking France depth says the celebration's moving from France depth keeps bleeding, down again to roughly 2.68 m, so the marginal buyer at 100 is stepping back as people lock in and move on. Meanwhile, the Poindaro asks in draw, Senegal keep stacking like cones after training. Lots of activity, zero. And just like that, France depth snaps back to 3.70 m. Fresh money stepping in at 100, probably ARB desks hoovering up any lingering settlement friction. That's momentum returning after a brief wobble, like a team reasserting control right after a shaky 5-minute spell. France stays rock solid 8.100 with depth still north of 3.69, so the bid wall's holding like a team killing the clock in the corner. The only real movement is more junk supply piling up at 0.00 on draw in Senegal. Cleanup trades, not conviction. Big tell here is Senegal's point on 0. Ask depth ballooning to $1.35. Late sellers dumping the losing ticket in bulk. Pure capitulation. France is basically unchanged around 3.16 knows on the bid, so the win is still a locked-in trade while the Now France bid depth finally softens, down to about 3.06 mellum. So some of that sure thing liquidity is getting pulled as the market winds down. Draw asks creep higher and Senegal stays bloated at 0, which is basically the post-match crowd trying to sell their Interesting swing. Senegal's 0 ask depth collapses from 135 sim to about 873k, while draw balloons looks like sellers are rotating the dead money dump from Senegal into draw. France stays pinned at 1 chorars with steady depth, so the We're seeing profit-taking hit the certain winner now. France bid depth slips again to about 3.05 miles as more longs cash out at 1 heldro, including winner dinner chicken JR flipping from bullish to reducing. Meanwhile, Senegal's 0.0 France liquidity actually reloads. Bid depth pops back up to about 3.15m, so someone's stepping in to keep the 1 draw pinned like a keeper protecting a clean sheet. Meanwhile, draw in Senegal 0 asks both swell past 1.1m and $1.43. And there's the cleanup. Draw and Senegal books go dark. No bids, no asks. So the market's basically settled and nobody's pretending there's a trade left. France stays nailed at 1 horror with 3.13m.